4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, fella. What's going on?
Hey,
how'd you like to get that quick Quake fix?
Oh my God. It's so amazing how fast it came back to me, like the addiction of playing that game over and over again.
It's a real problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been going crazy. Jamie's been fucking me up too. So today, I got lucky that he had to help you get his shit together.
3 early kills. I saw that.
He's been fucking me up.
Yeah.
Not nice.
You don't really play Quake, right? It's from playing Fortnite and stuff.
I tested myself a little bit because I knew this was going to happen eventually, so I had to get some practice with some rockets at some point. And yeah, but it helped. It honestly helps to warm up with Quake to play Fortnite or play PUBG or something like that, because the quick, whatever it is of aiming, you don't do it that much. So like when you're doing it 3 times, you've already done it 55 times playing Quake just in one round.
Right.
So like your little interaction you have with someone in a shotgun, you usually win. So
Quake is so fast paced.
Yeah.
We're playing Quake 4. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I haven't played that game in maybe 15 years.
Me too. You know
I didn't think you were ever going to do it again.
I probably shouldn't. What I noticed is my eyesight sucks now. My eyesight is not nearly as good. It's interesting. From like 42 to 46, there was a big drop off, and at 46, the fucking floor fell out. Now it's like my eyesight's shit.
Gamer glasses.
yeah, it takes me a minute when I play games too. One game
Focus.
isn't enough. Yeah, it probably takes 10 minutes, maybe less, but like to just start tracking things, just getting your eyes up to speed, the distance you are away from that screen, all it takes a little bit of time to get in there.
Yeah, man. It's right now we're just playing it on the local area network, but once you start going online and playing other people, that's when it gets super, super addictive.
People that still play that game must be insane.
Oh my God, I don't want to be anywhere near those psychopaths. If they're playing that game, it's because they're really good at it, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like who else? Like young kids aren't buying that game.
Back in the day, you even had a Joe Rogan level that somebody created. Remember
Yeah,
that?
somebody created a level. That's right. Was that what game was that? 3 or 4?
I think it was 4.
Was it really?
Yeah.
4 was 11 though. Didn't it come out in 2011?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, maybe it was 3 then.
Might have been 3.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Rocket League
Arena
4?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember.
I don't remember
I
either.
know there was Rocket Arena for Quake 2 and there was Rocket Arena for Quake 3 because I started with Rocket Arena for Quake 2, which if you played today, you would think the graphics are hilariously bad. But it's a good game. It's a little slower. The fast game was like Quake 1 was really fast, Quake 2 was slower, and then Quake 3 became more like Quake 1, a combination of Quake 1 and Quake 2. Dude, it's pretty fast. Quake 4 is probably perfect.
Miss it. And you tried to play the new Quake, but you didn't like it as much? Is that
The only problem is it's fun. We had a good time. The only problem is you have to do everything through their servers. So it takes time. It's got to load. It's like, it's not, I'm impatient.
right?
I'm a fucking child.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you refuse to try any of the other ones, right? Like
Dude,
the
they're all just new addictions, you
Yeah.
know, waiting to happen. I just feel like if I got one addiction,
This weekend on Saturday, they had a concert in Fortnite.
Marshmallow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
what does that mean?
I think it's tough to explain, but it's called an event. What they're calling it is like an event. So at 2:00, everybody showed up at the game, and this fucking concert started. It was like
so all the avatars are together like in one gigantic room?
the normal mode. You played it just like normal, and then all of a sudden, like 2 minutes to go, they took everybody's guns away, and like you all just sort of congregated around the stage, and the music started, the show started. They started doing interactive things with all the avatars and everything, and like 10 minutes later, it cut off.
Jesus
But it turns out
Christ.
it was actually live. He was tweeting about it all day because for promotion and whatnot. But people were asking like, "How'd you do that? How'd you work it out?" His voice was going live to everyone who was playing. It was probably millions of people.
Whoa.
Yeah,
And it was just normal DJ voice stuff like, "Hey, jump, guys. Hey."
Was it?
he was just like, "Hey guys, come on!" Like he wasn't interacting too much as
Right.
as he probably does during a normal set when he's
Right.
playing to 20,000 people in Vegas or whatever it is.
So when he does it, he probably has like a really good microphone too. Like it's not like the microphone that you talk shit on.
Right? Yeah. They had something else set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we first started doing Quake, you had to type.
Yeah.
That's how goofy it was. You couldn't talk shit. Like now people are talking, like they're all in a group together talking shit, right?
I have a voice changer now too.
But doesn't the talking shit get in the way? Like if you hear people talking, it gets in the way of hearing sounds, like sound cues.
Yes, you tell your teammates to shut the fuck up.
You could turn that off also.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. I like to hear the footsteps coming around
Yeah.
the corner and stuff.
It makes it scary.
Yeah.
It's part of what's scary about Quake is like you hear someone running, like, oh, and you know they're right around the corner.
You can control all that. It's all up to you. Volume settings and all that kind of thing.
It's a very, very addictive game. So we should talk about this, the Jack podcast, because everybody got so upset about it. And let's clear up a few things. First of all, the guy seems to be willing to talk about anything. It's not that I didn't want to talk to him about those things. It's just he was being, I wouldn't say he's evasive, but he was basically just saying what he knew based on the company policy. I didn't know what else more to ask him. And people felt like I didn't press him hard enough. And he, to his credit, reached out to me and said that he would offer to do another one to ask more questions.
Oh, that's cool.
And I said, that would be awesome. So I said, well, this is the thing that people seem to be upset about. They seem to be upset about very specific cases where people showed, like if people were right-wing and they were posting things, they were banned, whereas people who are left-wing or maybe people of different races were allowed to post racist things or more offensive things and even dox people and didn't suffer any consequences for it. This is the argument. My problem is I don't spend enough time reading this stuff. I don't know. Like, this is like when people get banned. Like, Anthony Cumia is a friend of mine. I don't really know why he got banned. I don't know what happened. I know there was that incident with that woman that punched him, and he wound up getting fired. He was drunk, and he said a bunch of really stupid shit in Twitter, and then later apologized for it. But I don't know if that's what got him kicked off of Twitter. But he's my friend. So what I'm saying is all these other guys that have problems, I don't know what the fuck happened, man. I'm busy. I really don't. I don't know. I don't even know what got Alex Jones kicked off, which is why I asked him, because that was one of the last platforms for Alex Jones was Twitter, but something got him kicked off. Their take on it was that they never kicked him off before because he didn't violate their terms of service. And another thing that's very encouraging that Jack said, and I know it's fun to get mad at things. It's fun to get mad at him. It's fun to get mad at me for it. I get it. I'd probably do the exact same thing. I totally understand it. But one of the things that he said was that he believes that the ability to communicate on the internet through Twitter or through these platforms is a basic human right. That's how he looked. Like I said, do you think of it like a network, like NBC? Like if you're on NBC, they can decide what's on and what's not on. Or do you look at it like a utility? And he specifically said that he looked at it more like that he thought it was a basic right. That's very encouraging. He also said that he would bring on whoever it is in his team that's responsible for these things. So we could hear from the actual person who decides who's getting banned and why they're getting banned and what's the decision making behind all these things. So we can go over all of them. I didn't think the podcast would create such a controversy, but that's probably poor prior planning on my part. Because my thought about it was, hey, I want to, like, it's fucking crazy to be running Twitter. Like, it's crazy that this thing exists, that the president uses it as a platform. I want to talk about the dude who created this and what is this like to have this thing evolve to become what it's become? Because it didn't start out that way. It started out like fun shit, like at Brian Redban's going to the movies. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people used it for. And then along the way, it became this global method of distributing information where people use it in war zones, man. They use it to tell people where attacks are. They use it for all kinds of crazy shit. It's like it's a really powerful but strange medium. I didn't think about getting into the weeds with all the very specific people that got banned. I just wanted to find out why they banned people. That was my take on it. I know there's a lot of conservative voices that have never been banned. I don't think Steven Crowder's been banned. I don't think Cernovich has been banned. Has he been banned? There's a bunch that have not been banned, right? So it's not like they ban all right-wing voices. So what is it? I don't know what it is.
I think it's what he said, people reporting the tweet, and then somebody's looking at it going, well, this does violate our, policy. Right. And maybe, all these people that got banned violated the policy somehow. It's probably as simple and cut clean as that,
It's not that simple, right? Because they make their own policies. And it's also not that simple if people are allowed to say similar things that are very racist in vast generalizations about white people, which seems to have been the case in at least a few instances. where people reported that people said fucked up things about white people, but there was no repercussions. And, you know, that's where the argument becomes these people are more oppressed, and so the white people are thought of as the oppressor. So you have this white privilege thing that people like to use now as a reason to decide to like silence someone, like check your white privilege. That's an interesting thing that's happening. So if there's this genuine movement where people think that it's okay to say things about one race, whether you like it or not, that's racism. And if you're allowing that from any one side and not allowing it from another side, it seems hypocritical. Look, it's very distasteful. The idea of racism against black people in this country is very distasteful to everybody, almost everybody who's not a racist, right? Because of the history of this country, because of slavery, because of all these things, it's a different connotation. But if you just allow people to say terrible things about any race, it's racism. You're allowing a predetermined attitude about a race. Some people have done this. They have made generalizations, racist statements about white people. The really weird thing that people are throwing around these days is that you can't be racist against white people because racism is about power and influence. It's about using that black people are not powerful, the white people are powerful, and the white people are the ones who are oppressed. So it's impossible to be racist against them. That sounds like horseshit to me. I'm not buying that. That doesn't make any sense. It's not beneficial to anybody to generalize. This is what we got to get in our head. It doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white or if you're whatever the fuck you are. It is not beneficial to generalize, to take a person out of the group that we think of as just human. Individuals. You have to be an individual. I mean, I acknowledge the fact that people look different. They have different heritages. They have different ancestry. They have different occupation. There's different parts of the world. There's all these differences. But at the end of the day, the only way we're all going to get true equality and true kinship and camaraderie as human beings is that if we recognize we're just all a human being. That's it. There are very big differences in the way we look and the things we like. That's cool. But as soon as you can say shitty things about white people or white men, that leaves everybody who doesn't fit that description guilty in this weird way, or presumed guilty because of a racist statement. That's all it is. It's not good for anybody. I get it that it's different than racism against black people in America. A country that was built essentially in a lot of ways by slavery. There's a war for slavery in this country. I mean, that is a crazy reality that it's not your responsibility. It's not mine. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. But it's real. Therefore, as a person who's aware of the history of this country, racism against white people seems different. But it still sucks to be racist against black people, rather. Seems different. But it still sucks to be racist against white people. Sucks to be racist against Puerto Ricans. It's not good. It's not good for anybody. That's what we have to understand about this social media thing. What actually did happen and what is happening and why is it happening? And if it's just some social justice warrior ethic that you're not debating, it doesn't seem fair. It seems like there should be a conversation about this. And I bet they're super reasonable, really intelligent people, and it's possible they can come to a good place that we can all agree to. That is possible. I'm not a cynical person. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you are like, fuck them, they just want this, they just want that. Guess what? They already have it. They have more money than they could ever spend. And my dealings with Jack as a person, he seems like a very nice guy and a very smart guy and a very empathetic guy. I just think he's in a crazy, unmanageable situation to be running something like Twitter. Yeah, and there's probably people that did something that they should have done in terms of silencing people and moving things around. It's probably happened. It's a weird thing when people have influence over people, and there have been videos that have been proven where executives from a bunch of different social media corporations have talked about how to silence certain voices, how to push down certain voices. This is something that needs to be discussed. Like, is this as a policy as a whole? Is it, is it because you think you're pushing the right message? Like, as soon as someone thinks they're pushing the right message, but they don't there's no debate about that, right? They just decide our way is the right way, and they're pushing this, and there's a radical opposition to that message from half the country. But you're like, no, but this is the one that's in control of the narrative. This is the one that's in control of social media. It's this far left-leaning ideology, and the other part gets pushed aside. That's a very bad situation for all of us, because there has to be conversation. There has to be debate. Because if there's not, it just shores up the differences between two people, and they fucking hate each other even more. I did not take that into account, and I fucked up. That's my mistake. That is my mistake when I made that podcast. But I didn't take it easy on them because I didn't want to discuss those issues. I just didn't think enough of it in advance. I'm not as involved in it as other people are. I'm aware that there's censorship in social media. I'm aware. My ideas going into that conversation were more about how insane this method is for distributing information. For the people that have been banned, and for the people that were fans of the people that were banned, I can understand why they'd be upset at me. It has nothing to do with any preconceived notions that I had. It's just how the conversation took place. That's all it is. And if you felt left down by that, you didn't feel like it was as extensive enough, I'm more than willing to do it and go further into it, and we're going to. And Jack offered it, and he's going to bring someone else who's going to explain things to us. I think this would be very beneficial for everybody. I also think that there should be a road to redemption. I think if you've got something that's important as Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, if you're not stealing someone's stuff, like, using copyrighted music or something on an Instagram page where you get banned over and over again for doing it, but you keep doing it. If it's not something like that, if it's an ideological difference, if maybe you crossed a line that they decided was a line, you should be able to work your way back. There should be a way where you can sign up again.
You mean like get a new email address?
I don't mean that, man. I mean be the same person. You should be able to be the same person. There should be a way.
Well, there should be different levels, definitely.
But people fuck up, man. They fuck up and they make mistakes, right? And people also grow. I mean, there's this guy that was on Sam Harris's podcast, Christian Piccolini, I think is his name. He was a fucking white supremacist, a full-on white supremacist, and now he is the exact opposite. He's like this very progressive guy who gives speeches on the dangers of racism and the ideology, how it caught up with him. Now, if he got banned when he was a young man and making terrible decisions and then became a better person, shouldn't we give a guy like that a chance to get back in a platform? Right? And without making a whole new screen name, like, maybe it would be, I don't think there's anything wrong with the anonymous model. There's some things that are really good about it, right? Like people, like Jack even talked about this, that people can report news stuff and not worry about fear of retribution, that they can, they can whistle blow and not worry about fear of retribution. If someone's life is on the line, but they're trying to provide a service to the general public, or they're trying to give people information that maybe might even save lives, but could put them at risk, especially in like third world countries or war-torn countries, that could be a huge problem if you have to post, Brian Redban. If this is the only way you can get this information out, you have to use your whole name. But it'd probably be better off for everybody if people had a way of communicating with each other like it's just person to person. And I think the real problem is when people try to engineer these conversations. And this is another conversation about YouTube. People have said that we're deleting comments on YouTube. We're not deleting anything. We haven't deleted any comments. I don't know how it works. I don't read them. I'm sure people say mean things. Have a good time. The thumbs up, thumbs down thing. Look, we don't have to have that on there. You don't have to have comments on there. YouTube gives you the option to have comments on and to have the thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm not taking those off. Have a good time with it. But we're not fucking with that. There's something that they're doing that's not, it's not I post at 3:41 and Jamie posts at 3:42 and this is the line of the comments. It's not like that. They've got their own way of doing it. The question is, why does YouTube do it? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to block out spam? Are they trying to block out hate speech? Are they trying to engineer conversation?
Are you talking about comment order?
Comments on no, the comments disappear. They go away.
A lot of times it's automatic. If somebody flags a comment, that will just take the comment away until it's like looked over upon.
Only one person?
Yeah. I think on YouTube that happens quite often.
Probably be as little as 1 or 2 people. Yeah.
So that is probably what's happening to all you folks that think your comments are getting deleted. No one's deleting shit.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not attached to what I do in the sense that I'm unwilling to look at what I do wrong. I try to look at everything that I do wrong, including this. So if you were upset at this podcast because you thought somehow or another I sold out because I didn't ask him any more questions, I just asked him the questions I wanted to ask. I understand you have more questions, and I do too. I have more questions too, especially upon seeing people's reaction to it and upon, making myself pay more attention to all these various stories. Matt sent us a list of them. Some of them are really fucking crazy. There's some crazy things people have said and not gotten in trouble for, whereas other people said things that really weren't that bad and got in trouble for it. Why is that? That's a good question to ask. So we'll concentrate on that. We're just going to work out a date. So my humblest apologies to all of you. I'm not trying to let anybody down. I always try to do my best. That's it. And also, here's another clear one. No one tells me what to do. There's no secret person behind the scenes. If I fuck up, it's because of me. It's my fuck up. I should have prepared more. I should have thought about it more. But I didn't realize how upset people would be.
I think you did I thought it was a great interview, and I didn't even think of that. I thought you kind of touched on it a little when you were talking about Alex Jones, and I think that was like, okay, this is what happens.
Well, it's a very specific group of people that are upset. It's right-wing guys.
Right.
It's a lot of American flags, a lot of Pepe the Frogs. Mm-hmm. It's alt-right people, which, look, man, easily could have been me at many points of my life. Easily, especially being a troll online. If you're working in some fucking job and you're making Pepe the Frog memes and you're fucking with people, I get it. I get it. It's one of the things I like about the internet. Like I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable all the time. I want a little bit of chaos. I like the fact that just people they're like that fucking. I was upset that Radiolab podcast, they took it down where they were fucking with Shia LaBeouf. With those guys from 4chan, and the way they took it down was they contacted Radiolab and said those guys are white supremacists and they support white supremacy, and you just you made these people that are awful, terrible people that write terrible things. You gave them props. But the thing about something like 4chan is, no, you might read some terrible things, but you got to realize you're also reading terrible things from anonymous people that are working at their jobs most of the time, and they're trying to fuck with people's head, and they're trying to get people upset. They're having a good time fucking with people. If you want to take them as that's like them like giving a talk to a dear friend or them giving an affidavit in court, well, you're missing the whole thing. It's entertainment. Like half of the whole reason why they're doing it is entertainment. They didn't go steal Shia LaBeouf's flag and go right to the camera and go fuck Shia LaBeouf by using coordinates from photographs of the sky where they figured out where the constellations lie and then drove around honking their horn so that they could locate where it was by using the webcam and listening to how close they got to it. I mean, it's fucking genius shit. And it got taken down just by this accusation of them being racist. But the thing about a forum like 4chan or Reddit or anything, you have so many fucking people. You have thousands and thousands and thousands of people. If you just have 10 cunts posting jokes about black people, that's all you need to ruin the reputation of thousands of people. So for someone to say that everybody that was like, fuck Shia LaBeouf is some racist and a white supremacist, that's a cheap way out. That's a cheap way out. I bet more likely it's some dude who's bored and he's sitting in front of his fucking computer and he works all day and this is where he escapes. He escapes and types and writes things, then checks them later and then goes back to it and types things and checks. And it keeps him sane in this stupid fucking cubicle. That's a lot of the people. So they pulled that whole amazing podcast down because of that. Look, the Shia LaBeouf thing was ridiculous. He will not divide us. Come on. Stop. We're going to chant that everywhere. It's funny what they did. They mock something. That's their way of mocking it. Nobody got hurt. They made it out like it was this like awful crime they committed on this amazing person who's just trying to change the world. No, they pranked Shia LaBeouf. And they said, fuck Shia LaBeouf. Is that how you say it?
Shia LaBeouf.
LaBeouf, whatever it is. Shia LaBeouf.
I thought it's better.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, too. He probably did something silly. It's a little silly. He will not divide us. What they did was funny. It's a funny reaction. I like that. I like that. Like this is an important part of this thing. If it wasn't for people like that, there would be no podcast. Now, the like to dislike ratio that you see on YouTube videos is fascinating, right? Because it's weaponized, and they're thinking about trying to ban that now because so many people use it to fuck with people. I hate to say this about you folks, but every time we have a chick on here, they get fucking tortured. The like to dislike, right? Like it's ruthless, except Rhonda Patrick.
Right, but it's just it's weaponized. It's they're just going to dislike it because
it's fun. Because
it's fun to hit that thumbs down.
It's also fun to throw a rock at a window. It's fun. Yeah, I mean, and some of them probably didn't even watch the podcast.
And
like thumbs down.
Gives them disliking it gives a little bit of power in the algorithm of de-ranking it. And thinks you affected something.
And people who liked it, there's probably a lot of them that didn't even watch it. It's a button you can press. Yeah. People are weird, but it's clearly it shows by the amount of dislike that people moved on it and they were upset about it. So that's basically it. We'll see.
There's a lot of cool, interesting questions to ask him. Like, I always thought shadow banning was a real thing, but I think he came out and said that that's not a real thing. But I've seen it in my, in person where I'll type somebody's name in, and usually it's supposed to come up on the, searches, but it doesn't.
Well, shadow banning if it is a real thing. Like, that's another one. Like, shadow banning for what? Like, if it's not something that is, if you're not doing something that you could get kicked off the platform for, right? You're not kicking them off. You're just pushing them down to some weird place. But if you're doing that, like, why are you doing that? Like, what?
Because, like...
but what would be the justification?
From the ones that I have seen, there used to even be a website that you could type in somebody's username to see if they were shadow banned. So that's kind of interesting. But... like a lot of porn stars are shadow banned because they don't want, if you're looking up Christina Applegate, they don't want Christina, Applebottom or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like I still believe that's a thing, but I'm pretty sure he came out and said it wasn't a real thing.
Technically shadow banning Justin Bieber from the trending topics, right? I mean, they have publicly said that. That's not a shadow ban. That's a strategy.
Well, no, they were kind of forced into it because Justin Bieber his fans trend so hard. They hashtagged the shit out of that thing, and they just took over the trending.
It's probably happening for other equally popular celebrities, too, like Taylor Swift's and Beyonce's.
Kanye,
and all those.
Yeah, you're probably right. So whatever they're doing at YouTube with comments and whatever they're doing with Twitter, here's the real conversation, right? The real conversation is, do we want that? Do we want them to curate? Do we want them to decide whose YouTube videos you could subscribe to and do they unsubscribe people? Is that real or is that a glitch?
Who knows?
I don't think they unsubscribe.
I don't think so either, but people let's listen. If they're willing to move Justin Bieber from the #1 trending because he #1 trends too hard and they think it's ridiculous, not to just acknowledge that our culture, that there's certain humans in our culture that are spending an exorbitant amount of time thinking about that beautiful man, right? There's a lot. But why do we want to lie and pretend that it's not as big? So if they I'm not saying they shouldn't, but if they did that, just if they did that, you go, okay, are we through the looking glass now? You can change the data? Like when do you decide who gets pushed here, who gets pushed there? When do you decide?
YouTube definitely, the trending page on YouTube is 100% controlled by a human. I don't know if they've said that, but there are videos that should be there that aren't based off of the data you see.
Yeah.
YouTube's got some weird things going on with it. Like the videos that they go, you might like type thing. They did a you might like to me a couple months ago where it was just videos of a guy towing cars in Dallas, like out of their parking lot. And he made these funny, cute little videos with a little commentary using videos from the security cameras. Anyways, I don't know why I liked it, but I started watching it and I was like, this is interesting. So I tweeted it out, like random video I just got addicted to on YouTube. Everybody, like hundreds of people were like, I just started watching that. YouTube recommended that to me. Like, how did that happen? You know, this little guy with a tow truck company is now pushed on everybody's laps. And now he just went over 100,000 subscribers the other day. And it was like months ago that he was just had like 10.
That's the argument some people have made, that's how fast the Paul brothers, they grew, and they grew so fast on YouTube that some people thought there was something up. They gained like millions of followers within a week or two of being on there, and they were coming from another platform.
Well, it's also, there's coming from another platform is giant, but it's also, all it really takes is one person deciding that whatever the fuck you did was funny or weird or crazy. Like that Cash You Outside girl.
Yeah.
Well, that girl's, managed by the same people that own TMZ, and that's why you see it on TMZ every day.
I was going to bring up, if you watch the Fire Festival documentary, there's an explanation of, they show how they spread the Fuck Jerry guys, the marketing team spread that with that orange picture. It was a coordinated event over hundreds of different social media accounts.
For her? For the Cash Me Outside girl? For Fire Festival?
Yeah, for the Fire Festival, yeah.
Fire Festival.
To catch everybody's, because there are a team of people, there are agencies that have all these influencer accounts. Mm-hmm. They pay them. They don't have to accept the money or accept the offer, accept the campaign, but oftentimes they do.
So it's like a talent agency.
100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
They need to share a new person. You need to launch the next voice, and it's like, oh, here's a new song, here's a new movie. It's just a new way to spread stuff,
bro.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool watching how many people are unsubscribing to Fuck Jerry and the Fat Jew, though. That's
yeah, but are they? I looked at it the other day. They have like 14 million.
They lost 500,000 in like a weekend.
Really?
That's a significant amount.
Last time I looked, it was 14.7. Then it was 14.1. I haven't looked today.
Whoa.
That's coming from, I think, a video someone shared this week. I think Vic Berger made a video that got spread around, and
they took his video, right?
I
think that's what he said. I think I saw it on Vic Berger's page.
There's a few comics that have posted videos like, "Hey, Fat Jew stole this," and I tried to reach out, they never got back to me. He got 10 million. What do you think about this idea though? Like, that's kind of piracy,
Yes.
And so Instagram's allowing and Twitter's allowing piracy.
Well, I think they're allowing these people to post videos because you don't really know where it came from. There's no proof, right? Like if you find a meme, like how many times you posted a meme, I repost whoever sent it to me if someone sends it to me, but sometimes I'll just find it in a Google search, and you got to figure out who made that meme, and if I find their Instagram account, then I'll try to find it and repost it. But some people don't. And I haven't in the past. Like I did that one with Baked Alaska got mad at me because there was one with Alex Jones sitting in a hot tub, and it's like when your friends are trying to chill, but you have to keep dropping truth bombs. Mm-hmm. It was hilarious. I didn't know it was his. Right. I just posted it because someone sent it to me. Someone sent it to me in a text message, I think. But those things have a creator, right? And I know like Eddie Bravo makes his own. He makes some sometimes, but he'll send some to me or post some online that he finds that are funny too. And everybody tries to credit the person who did it, right? But now what they do is they take it and they credit the person, but they didn't for so long.
A lot of times they're crediting fake accounts, so they'll make a fake account.
They have
put
fake
that meme there and just
I've
do
seen
it
that too.
So they're not getting busted in the way you're just explaining.
I've seen that too. Well, what is that about though? Because that seems like deception.
It's just a way around that backdooring that qualification of it needs to be on an account. We need to point to somebody. Okay, well, we'll point to this account.
But it's not even a real account.
Right.
And if they find, like, they'll post stuff and then later add the person because the person contacts them. Mm-hmm. And so they're almost like, that's admitting to piracy. Like, we did
is
pirate.
It though? I mean, because if they just reposted it, a lot of folks, including me, do that.
Yeah, but they're making money. Other people are not.
Yeah. That's important. I don't make any money off my Instagram.
Right. They're making millions.
Yeah, I just I've been offered to post stuff up, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't if something was fucking killer and they wanted to give me money. I'm greedy. I'll take some money, but I wouldn't lie about it. And I haven't yet. I've never accepted any money yet.
Yeah, because it's also, I think, in Instagram's law that you have to put that it's an ad if you're making money off of it.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that both Fuck Jerry and Fat Jew are not doing. They're not putting an ad.
I just want to, like, to devil's advocate this, though. Is there a place for them, for those accounts? Like, is there a place to be the retweeter of the memes, to be that guy, to be that account, Like, Isn't that valuable, sort of?
Yes, it is a curator position. Yeah, it's kind of valuable. But the question is, like, if it is valuable and it becomes something almost like redistributing your stand-up, if you're doing a set. Like if stand-up sets were, something that you could get everywhere and you could just repost it on your page, but then your page became super popular because you have all these people stand-up sets, like a Spotify. Spotify gets ads, right? But they pay the artists a little bit, but mostly they make all the money.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you like say sorry later, you just do it and say I'm sorry, we'll figure it out after the fact, or you
these
get it
are
all
all
figured out.
Business-oriented things that have art in them, as opposed to art-oriented things that start making money. They're two very different things. So this is not an art thing. This is they find other people's art and they sell it. They're pushing it. They create these accounts. The accounts get giant. People pass it around because they're just finding funny things, and then they start profiting. But all the people that created all the intellectual property get zero money, which is weird.
I don't remember, but I only learned more about this when Exit to the Gift Shop came out. Isn't that what Andy Warhol sort of did?
I don't know, and I don't care. I mean, maybe he did. Maybe he did. But the thing about it is that this is happening right now on the internet. It's a totally different animal. I mean, Andy Warhol wasn't running around taking exact photo duplicates and putting them on his website for sale. Like this is when someone's doing on an Instagram page is like you could within seconds take a piece and put it somewhere else. It's seconds.
Yeah.
Brian posts something. I think it's funny. Ha ha. I go to copy. I go to the fucking repost app. I put it in there. Repost it. It's seconds later. You could do that all day. And if you hire kids, I don't know if he has people working for them, but if these guys do, they hire people for fucking $20 an hour or whatever, and these people just do it all day long. They just find funny shit all day long. They look for certain hashtags.
Meme factories are what they're called.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's some people that have made some funny ones all their own. A lot of people that are just doing that all. I know Dalia has done a bunch of them. And then there's also one that they do where they steal people's act and make a meme out of it and then post that on their page. That's where it gets even more slippery because you're talking about like stand-ups acts. And you're making money off it. How much are they making off of each post? I mean, I don't know, but these are multi-million-dollar businesses.
And
right?
the punchline. So now you have this 10-minute joke that everyone knows the punchline because they saw it on Facebook. That's like spoiler alert. Come on.
For sure, if you're still doing that material, like if it wasn't on Netflix or a Comedy Central special or something, for sure, that sucks.
I guess it's always happened though, hasn't it? TV shows have been accused of stealing.
They have stolen.
Yeah, it's happened on.
Dude, they did it to Kevin James. I saw it happen. Kevin James was at he had a development deal for NBC back in the Disney, back when we were young pups. Both of us were like 27 or some shit. Maybe he's a little older than that. Maybe that was like during the news radio days. So we were probably like in our 30s. And he had this development deal, nice development deal. They were paying him a lot of cash, a lot of paper. And they were setting up a sitcom around him. So they had him do a set at a theater in Hollywood. And I was there, and he does this set, and there's all these writers from various sitcoms. And the very next season, one of his best jokes is on an episode of a television show that's very popular. Very popular. Yeah. And they fucking stole his bit, man.
I guess that's where I was going, because that was in the 90s. So, like, we're now 25 years later. The new popular medium is Instagram and social media.
Yeah,
How different is that?
Well, it's different because there's accountability now. Because now people know that if you wrote a meme and you put it up on your site and then Fuck Jerry comes along and steals your shit and doesn't credit you for it and just puts it up there, you know what they did. Unless someone sent it to them and didn't attribute it to you, which is possible, but it seems much more likely that what they were doing on purpose for the longest time. And they thought that's what you could do on the internet. It's a Wild West. You could just take memes and you could become famous. And look, that fat Jewish guy did it. I mean, that guy became famous. Whether you agree with his methods or not, it worked. He's got his crazy hair. He shows you, like he's this crazy looking guy, and he has all these funny memes that somebody else wrote. And they're all up on his Instagram page, and it worked. And people don't like him now. There's a lot of people that don't like him. People get real shitty with him in person. They don't want him doing appearances. They know what he did. So there's a certain number of people that go, hey man, you're a thief. Like, this is not cool. Like, what you did is not cool. But then there's certain people that don't care. And then there's certain people that think, well, what he did was just what anybody did back then. It was the Wild West. No one thought about it. And once he established that business model and it was effective, it was probably very hard for him to slow it down or to attribute things to people or to admit that he didn't do it for all that amount of time.
It just bugs me that companies pay these guys knowing that they do this, or like as a fat Jew, he's like signed with CAA, who's signed with a bunch of comedians that he probably took. They're taken from the same basket. So it's like,
it is weird, right?
Yeah.
Now, if he was going on stage and doing their acts,
he's been doing appearances, right? He's got a book. He's been on TV shows.
Well, I don't know what's in.
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing.
But maybe he's showing
him in that. But he's obviously used it for profit. He's figured out a way to profit. It's weird. He must be weirded out by this fuck Jerry thing too, because he must be sitting there going, okay, all right here, you guys gonna leave me alone? It's Comedy Central was advertising on the fuck Jerry page, which is like Jesus, folks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was like, Jesus, folks. Can I just sit you guys down? Go over a little history of comedy?
Well, I mean, Mind and Sia, they didn't learn then either,
Well, that was while it was happening, though.
Yeah.
They did learn eventually. They let it go eventually, but that was also because the ratings had dropped through the floor. Comedy's not fucking easy to make up, Especially like meme kind of comedy that's done by folks that are working in offices. Meme kind of comedy is some of the funniest fucking comedy on earth, and it's done by regular people. It's not like most memes are written by high-level satirists that work for the New Yorker. No, they're fucking regular folks who think something's funny,
I think what's going to happen is as technology improves, being able to scan a photo and go, well, we could tell the first time this was ever put on the internet was from this little girl. She took a photo of it, has all the data in the picture, and it's now used on this meme that's making this much money, and this meme then it's going to be kind of broken down like like any kind of artist.
Yeah,
musician.
I guess. I mean,
that's the idea for the argument for the blockchain getting involved in here, because you can tie that. I guess it can be in the data, in the bits.
Now let me ask you this: what if someone uses a picture of your band? Say you have a band. They use a picture of your band, and then they have a funny meme under the picture of your band. Yeah. Who owns that then?
That's what happened. I think Beyonce tried to get that picture taken off the internet from her from the Super Bowl a couple years ago because it was like a bad picture. She didn't like how she looked in it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but
how the fuck does that lady take a bad picture? She doesn't. Somebody needs to talk to her.
Yeah.
And go, listen, it's good. It's not your best, but you look fucking great. Like if that shit was on Tinder, you wouldn't be on.
It's like, if someone was paying for that meme, should Beyonce get some of the money? Or
that's the question you would have with like a corporation, right? Which should someone be able to grab photos that are out in the public domain, make something with it, and then profiting? There's been a lot of bans, I'm sure. That's why I said bans, because they're like really good at protecting copyright and their logo and shit. If you had like the Kiss band logo, you don't think Gene Simmons would come at you? He's coming at you with some lawyers, 100%, right? That's just what he's going to do. But it's who owns those photos? If it's like Gene Simmons like spitting fire out, and
I think if you took the photo and the cameras were allowed inside the event, you took it. It's
right, but it's
photographer.
Not what the case is though. Most of the photographs are people that are they're just putting them up online, and someone takes it. It's like say if Gene Simmons spitting fire, and then it has a joke about eating a hooker's pussy or something, like whatever it is, like make something funny there. But like if that's online. And that becomes this giant meme that gets all these likes, and that's somehow or another how the fuck do you profit from Instagram? You don't profit from individual posts, but those individual posts will boost your signal.
Yeah.
Some posts are profited.
Instagram?
Yeah, you have to say ad on it.
Right, it has to say sponsored post, right?
Yeah. Well, legally it's supposed to, but I'd probably say 90% of them aren't
right.
Like that.
A lot of people don't, right? Especially if it's like
Instagram
you
models.
think you can get away with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Instagram models talking about tea. Like, oh, this is the best tea. Yeah.
Yeah, the Instagram model is a fucking hilarious position. It really is.
It's a powerful position.
Yeah, it's hilarious though. It's amazing how many of them there are, and they make money. It's smart.
It's amazing how butts are such a big thing now.
Yeah.
And like when I was a kid, that no one cared about butts. It was big butt. You're like, ooh, lose some weight.
Yeah, we talked about this before. I
really?
think. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you and I did.
Oh, probably.
It was where I said Sir Mix-a-Lot changed the game.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
What's
"What?
that?
Oh, you like big butts? Hey, I kind of do too."
Yeah.
It's like for whatever reason, it wasn't even an issue. Like back then, girls would have giant fake boobs and tiny flat butts, and they were perfect.
My grandmother would have millions of Instagram model hits.
Fat Bottom Girls was before that slightly, but no one really, it didn't catch on, right?
You make the rock and world go round. That's a great goddamn song. I didn't see Bohemian Rhapsody. Did you?
see it either.
Did you see it?
Nah. I heard it wasn't that good.
You. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
guys talking about? I heard it was amazing.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I'm a giant Queen fan, though. I love them. That's my my number one cryogenic song when I'm in the cryo chamber is Dragon Attack. Because you got to move around when you're in that 240 degrees below zero. It's hard to just sit still. Do a little dancing in there.
I'd read he did a Rami Malek, I think is the actor's name that played him, Freddie Mercury. He did a really good job. But before it happened, Sacha Baron Cohen was sort of in talks for it, but he wanted to take the character in a different direction that no one was really comfortable with.
I see. I would have rather have seen that.
No, man. What would he have done? What was that? What does that mean?
I don't know.
See, that's a weird thing, man. You can't.
Could have just been said too that to get spicy talk.
But you can't just add stuff.
My wife.
Yeah, you can't just. It's not an art piece. Like Bohemian Rhapsody, although it is an art piece, it's a documentary of a guy's life. Like in some ways, you're documenting it, right? Like it's supposed to be his life. You can't make up things that never really happened, or
I forget what movie, but it's the difference between like a biopic and an actual biography or a
Right.
documentary. Like, it's,
well, what is the difference?
You're making a Hollywood movie versus
Right, but what is the difference in terms of the story?
Creative, I think creative control, like being creative with something. Like we know this event happened and this event happened the day before, and in the middle, what would happen? Where one is knowing
just
only the
screwy.
facts.
It's screwy to
the
do.
Foxcatcher versus a documentary about Mark Schultz. Like there were
Yes.
parts in there that you specifically know
Yes.
were fucked with for
No
art,
reason.
artistic sake.
Well, not just the parts that I know, but I didn't even talk to Mark about the movie. But there was a bunch of parts that I think he was furious about, where it made it look like they were doing blow and maybe doing some gay stuff. Wow. There was a lot of weird scenes that things were implied or it just seemed odd. Like, how do you know this happened unless Mark told you? And Mark was furious at the end. After it was released. And then on top of that, the big one was that they changed his opponent when he fought in the UFC. They gave him a Russian guy when he in fact fought Big Daddy Goodrich, who's a legend. Like Big Daddy Goodrich is an MMA legend. He was a pioneer. He was in the early UFCs. The giant yoked black dude with the gi. I mean, he would fight with the gi on. He has one of the most brutal knockouts in the history of the sport, where he fought this wrestler, Paul Herrera, and Paul took him down, and they got into a position where Big Daddy Goodrich was lying on him sideways, and he elbowed him in the face like 10 times in the course of like 3 seconds, and it's so horrific. You're watching his head just bounce off before they stop the fight. It's fucking brutal, like one of the most brutal KOs you'll ever see in your life. So this guy wasn't just a regular guy, like you just substitute him out and make the guy's name Tom instead of Bob. No, it was Big Daddy Goodrich. That's who Mark Schultz fought when he fought in the UFC. Watch this. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom,
Wow.
boom, 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 boom. I mean, that guy is fucking out. And his arms are trapped and his legs are trapped. Big Daddy's got him in like a crucifix position. And it's from Paul trying to take him down. I mean, that was... so that guy, Big Daddy Goodrich, he's a famous fighter. It's not like they took some nobody and removed him from the movie and changed the name of someone where it didn't really matter. It was a historical event in MMA.
What's the reason, you think? No one knows?
Some crazy producer, I think you should fight a Russian guy because we're in the Cold War again, baby. I don't know, you fuck Putin. I don't know how you feel about politics. Some producer just wanted to jizz on the soup.
Right.
Some writer just wanted to cup his own balls and squirt one off into the fucking stew. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a screenplay to make it to watch better. Who knows?
The only other thing that makes sense is maybe they would have had to pay Daddy Goodrich.
Right.
And they
His
didn't want
name.
to pay him. Maybe. I don't know.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
I mean, like Mike Tyson, you know, he had that video game a long time ago with Nintendo, and they had to pay him to use Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah.
And then after like a couple years, he was like, I'm done with this. And then, so then it was just called Punch Out. It wasn't even Mike Tyson in the game anymore. They had to like take it off.
Some new dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done the VR boxing game yet?
I haven't done the VR boxing game, but it looks cool. Like the Rocky one, is that what it is?
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Dude, they're amazing.
Yeah.
It's great. Like a regular boxing game you playing on TV is so stupid. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're fun. But in comparison to a VR game, in a VR game, you're boxing.
Right.
You see your hands in front of you. The guy's throwing jabs. You're slipping. You're like standing in front of him. You can catch punches with your hands. You can throw shots to the body. It's crazy. You get tired doing it. Yeah. Like you could really get a workout doing it. It's amazing. This is it right here. Like this is what you would see.
That's the new Rocky one. They just updated.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, this is the one I thought.
Oh, Clubber Lang.
Mr. T is in it. Or is it just random guy with mohawk?
Well, that's Clubber Lang. But look how jacked everybody is. Can you imagine if people were really that jacked?
Wow.
I mean, this is... So what is that? Drago? And he's fighting. There's Drago versus Rocky. Yeah, but we can't see.
Rocky
you want to see what it looks like from your eyes. And this is a... that's a regular video game? Or that is a virtual reality?
That's the VR game. This is just the teaser they showed, I guess. I was looking for the updated...
yeah, you want to see what it looks like when you've got those gloves in front of you.
Have you tried VR pool yet?
No.
No.
I like regular pool.
VR is so great. I love it. I just need to get it out of my living room. It's just too much for my living room.
There's things you couldn't do with VR pool that you need to understand if you're actually playing pool. With real pool, you need friction.
Wow, this looks great.
It's crazy. Look how good that looks.
This looks...
A little bit of haptic feedback for this to get maybe the next step.
Look how he's using his hands to block, too. It's crazy. Cool. The thing is, man, when someone's swinging on you, when this fake person in front of you is swinging, it's nerve-wracking. You think you're going to get hit, and when you do get hit, and you see red, or you see white, rather, look, you just KO'd him. It's funny watching the guy.
It's pretty amazing how VR really gets immersive. Like, you like the Resident Evil video game? I mean, that's scary as fuck. You really think zombies are coming after you.
Yeah, you really do. You know, that game, the thing about that game, though, it doesn't necessarily, this boxing thing does not necessarily reward perfect technique. It just, you could kind of just do this and just do that. So you'd have to if you wanted to use it as a workout, you'd have to actually be disciplined and use good technique. What you'd probably do is put gloves on. Put some Velcro gloves on and put the little fucking hand thing in the glove.
Probably close to there, but in the next year or two.
You could just duct tape it.
Year or two, it'll be in the glove itself. Yeah.
There's actually I think it's called the Knuckle Controller is the next version of the Vive controller. It fits around your hand like a glove. It just goes around your knuckles kind of.
Right.
So you don't have to grab sort of in the same way.
Right. Yeah. Because when you have your hands this way, like with thumbs up shows the gloves like this on the screen for some strange reason. So when you're throwing punches, it doesn't look right. They need to change that. But it's like they want you to just do this. Mm-hmm. But that's freaking me out.
Yeah.
But when you're actually doing it, though, if it looked like your hands in the same position as your hands, it would be a worthwhile way to learn. Like a guy like Freddie Roach could literally do a game where he showed you, all right, I want to see the jab, pop, and like right here, all right, pop, and then here comes the hook, duck under, and then go to the body, go to the head. And you could do that and do drills with the guy, and actually you could pick up real skills in a VR game, especially with boxing. Boxing particularly. Kickboxing maybe a little less because you're moving your legs, you're not just moving your hands. Like you'd have to have some sort of sensors on your legs so I could know what you're doing to make sure you're not showing bad technique, like your knee might be down or you might be doing something funky. But if you have boxing, those two things are just like gloves. All you need to learn is all the other things. You need to learn how to punch and how to move around, but you can effectively, with just holding on to those things, you're staying in the same position that you would be if you were really boxing. And you can move around the ring too. Like it's an area like the size of this desk, maybe like a little bit more. So it's not like you're in one place and you don't have footwork. You could actually develop footwork too. So they could have like Vasily Lomachenko doing like footwork drills rather, where you would learn on a virtual reality thing where to step. That'd be fucking badass. Mm-hmm. All that stuff, you could learn some shit from those things.
I like how the VR is going. Like there's an amusement park or buildings now, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, where it's just VR rides now, where you use like, oh, you're parachuting or you're on a roller coaster and stuff. I like how they're doing that now a lot. Like a lot of malls have that now.
Yeah, I've done those. I've done the like little spaceship ones too, where you roll a doom buggy around on the surface of the moon.
Have you done the Star Wars one in Vegas yet? I guess you actually have like 5 people in your group that you can see in the game, and there's like, have you played it?
They have it at the Glendale Galleria. If you
They
wanna go
do?
check it out. Yeah.
Dude, the dopest one they have is at the Disneyland.
I think it's the same thing.
Disneyland Village, but the Disneyland Village one is there's a Star Wars one, and then there's also a Wreck-It Ralph one.
Yeah.
The Wreck-It Ralph one is fucking amazing.
Same company.
Is it the same company?
Yeah, the Void is what it's called.
Yeah, that's it. Same place. So they have the Star Wars one sometimes. So they'll have like one game set up for like a couple of weeks, and then they'll have the other game. Dude, we went to Disneyland, and that was the dopest thing at Disneyland.
Really?
Yes, by far.
It's the future.
It's fucking amazing. Dude, you wear the suit, okay? So you have this vest on. So you're feeling when you get hit. You feel it in your chest. You feel heat. They have places where you walk through, and it's like lava below you. You feel heat.
No way.
The Star Wars one, when you're getting shot, you feel it in your chest.
No shit.
You pick a gun up off the wall, and you've got like stormtrooper arms. You see you're holding the gun in front of you. It's crazy.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was in Glendale.
Dude, they're getting so good. You still are super aware that you're in a game.
Right.
For now. But this, go from Pong to fucking, what's the best? Red Dead Redemption? That's probably the best graphics. I mean, fucking insane graphics. What is that, 30 years? 30 years they went to that. These virtual reality games, 10 years from now, are going to be insane. No one's going to want to be in regular life. Regular life's going to suck.
Yeah, there's not going to be a Disneyland or a Disney World anymore. It's just going to be VR.
It'll still be there, but you'll be able to get on every ride.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this myself yet, but the NBA makes viewing in VR available now.
Whoa,
so they
the
have
whole
a whole
game?
It's not every game, but it's like once a week they have a particular game you can log in and watch. They changed the cameras a little bit. I don't think it's perfect yet.
Holy shit.
It's very cool though.
Dude, how about watching this on the floor?
Yeah.
You're on the floor.
And they'll move you around so you're in the footage too. And I think they have a separate announcing team, so they're talking about what you're seeing versus like listening to the normal TV.
Oh wow.
It's quite not there yet. We filmed a couple episodes of Kill Tony in VR, and we had some of the top of the line cameras for it, and it still wasn't there yet. It was more hassle than it was worth.
This seems like something that would be fucking amazing for the UFC though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this would be amazing.
Yeah, you basically have your view.
Yeah.
Except the cage.
The cage would be in the way, but there's got to be a way that they could film through the cage. If they just had a camera in a reinforced position where it was far enough back behind foam that there's no way it could interfere if someone crashed into it, but yet close enough that it could see through an actual hole, you could get the entire octagon if you did it with several different ones of those.
They had it at least at like it was ground. This isn't it, I guess, but it was a ground level. I think they called it the Phantom Cam, but maybe it had a different name.
And it was VR?
It wasn't VR. No, the UFC's used it a few times. They always try out things. They're very experimental. They don't always show everything they're trying out though. But
problem with
this
it
would be cool to try maybe one time.
Ideally, you'd want it right in the middle, like not above or too below. And it would have to have because it has cameras all around it. So, that's hard to do with the cameras, I guess, without getting in the way of everything.
Yeah, you'd have to find a good spot for it.
Put it on Bruce Buffer's head and let him just go to town.
Well, they used to do that with Pride. Pride used to have they would wear glasses with cameras next to the glasses, and you'd get the referee vision.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's kind of cool.
Separating fighters and breaking it up and waving the fight off. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. Yeah, it's weird.
Here it is. It's I guess it's this little teeny Marshall cam is what it's called. POV cam.
Oh, that shit's pointed at me, man. Sometimes, yeah. There's one like that that's pointed at me.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I have seen that there.
Yeah, they use that sometimes when when we go crazy, when we jump up if a fight's happening. I didn't know that's what they did it for until one day I saw it online. I go, oh, well, that makes sense. That's a smart thing to do because sometimes we do get animated. There's been several fights where me, Anik, and DC or Dominic Cruz, we're all standing up. Like like the end, like Amanda Nunes, when Amanda Nunes knocked out Chris Cyborg, we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like your whole body's like, Jesus, what the fuck did I just see? Sometimes you just can't sit down. You just your body's just like, God damn it! It just goes. You're not even trying to control it. You just let it go. When you see somebody do something fucking insane, like there's some wild, crazy Francis Ngannou knocking out Alistair Overeem type punch, yeah.
Are we?
Yeah, it's me and Dominic and John Anik and Anik's up, and I'm leaning back. It's a crazy job, man. It's a crazy job. So that was the moment.
DC one. Yeah.
And you see the one below it? See that? Go back to that. See that one below it where I'm staring at the camera in the upper right? That one there?
Yeah.
That was a video taken by John Wayne Parr. John Wayne Parr, who's a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion, a friend of mine, a great guy who lives in Australia, was there at the fights in Australia when Holly Holm knocked out Ronda Rousey. And he filmed Holly Holm head-kicking Ronda Rousey and then turns to me and I turn to him and I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was like, whoa. But when you see it, like, in that moment, when you see something that's that fucking nuts in that moment, you're like, I can't even believe what I saw. Like, that was me. Like, I looked at him and he looked at me and we were like, whoa, dude. That was crazy. There's no sport like that. Some sports just, they just have this this moment where everybody gets a jolt of a drug. Everybody just gets this. Ah!
You mean that didn't happen last night at the Super Bowl for you?
I left before it ended. I was at a friend's party.
Oh, yeah.
Went to a Super Bowl party. It was fun.
The lowest viewed one in the last 10 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but not by a lot, but yeah.
It's because they knew that handsome man was going to take his shirt off.
Oh,
What's his name?
Adam Levine.
This beautiful man.
There's no nipples, or everyone's
He doesn't
talking
have
about his
nipples?
nipples. No, he has nice brown nipples, but
What's
then
wrong
you're
with
like Janet Jackson, like the big,
Yeah, right.
that
That's
went
true.
crazy.
Right, why is he allowed to show his nipples?
He showed both.
This is bullshit. Sex is bullshit.
And his dick root.
This is oh my god, he had dick root showing? That is bullshit. He just wanted everybody to know he's got beautiful tattoos
I love that.
and a fairly good body.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he does a lot of squats though, right? That's what's interesting. He's around like the greatest super athletes in the known universe. Actually, looks pretty good right there.
Well, for today, he was.
Yeah.
He looks pretty good.
Look at those
What do you mean
random
for today he
tattoos.
was?
I mean, he's not always around the greatest super athletes.
Right. No. Yeah. Yeah, he looks pretty good. He looks like he's in good shape. Happy to take his shirt off with his California stomach tattoo. Mm-hmm. But the point being, that guy's around freaks. He's around 6'5", 290-pound super athletes who could jump over his fucking head. They literally could run through 100 of him like they were paper walls. Just rah! That's what he's around. He's around the fucking Super Bowl. The greatest physical specimens in the known universe. And he takes his shirt off. Like, hey, bitches, I'm here too.
They had an event set up over the weekend so people could test their 40 speed up against other NFL times, whatever. They had like a list.
That's hilarious.
Usain Bolt did it in his shoes. Like they said street shoes or whatever, but
Right.
he didn't have cleats on. He tied the fastest ever NFL 40.
Yeah, he probably did it with a
4.22.
full stomach. He probably just ate, drank a couple of beers. Fuck it, I'll show these bitches what's up. Yeah, it was weird, like watching on TV this dude with his shirt off. This is a different thing now. Now this is like a sexy concert.
Yeah.
Before it was like a football game.
That's what I think he's getting shit for, because he didn't need to take his shirt off, right? He had his shirt on, and then like after the second song, he's like, you know what? Let's get sexy in the Super Bowl.
Did he say that?
No, but I mean, why else
if
would
he
he
did
take
say
off his
that-
shirt? I mean,
at least make a hashtag. Hashtag sexy in the Super Bowl.
let's get sexy up in this bitch.
Well, he's a sexy man. Don't be hating. Beautiful man.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole thing. Your audience is a bunch of guys,
Started with a jacket on.
Started with a jacket on. Well, it was cold out at first, but then he started to warm up a sweat.
Yeah.
Never trust white men with necklaces. That's my message.
More than one?
Oh, no, he's got the little necklaces and the bracelets for the falcons to land on.
Oh, wait a minute. Those are spiritual necklaces. If you have wooden beads, for whatever reason, that makes you spiritual.
Is that hemp or gold? I can't even tell.
You're allowed to wear wooden necklaces because, like, people go, oh, you're, like, really into organic stuff. You're really into macro. But that's gold.
Is that, yeah,
That
it
looks
is
like gold.
Yeah.
That's like, the other one was just weird lighting.
I can't wear necklaces, man. It bugs me. Did you ever wear necklaces?
I've worn necklaces, sure. Yeah. It's never been a staple. But it's a weird thing. First of all, if it's big enough, it's like this target, right? If you have like a big old gold necklace, people want to steal it.
Right.
There's a lot of necklace snatchers out there, Brian. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, like, what are you doing? What are you doing with that big old shiny thing around your neck? What are you doing? What are you, a chick?
I remember in the 90s, chokers were a thing, and I used to wear a choker. How gross is that?
Like a dog choker?
Just a really tight necklace. Ugh.
Yeah.
Hemp necklaces.
Oh, yeah, those with the little bead.
Yeah.
The bead at the bottom, the bead's critical. Got to have the bead.
Yeah.
Multicolored bead. Make it look like you're cool. Yeah, like, it's weird. Like some guys will wear, like, little anklets with, like, beads, and they tie them off, and they'll walk around barefoot. And you're like, okay.
Well, it's kind of like that look that you're not shop look, where you have, like, the really tight, like, your pants go up so you can see your socks, you know? You show a little leg.
You know why they do that?
Why?
Sneakers. Those guys are
they
all
show
into
off the sneakers?
Yep. Full sneakers. That's what Shab told me.
Do you do that, Jamie?
Yeah, that's what my pants have that actually
Oh, my
for you.
God, you do. Why?
That's how the pants are made.
That's funny.
That's how the pants are made?
Yeah, they're
That's
made.
why you don't buy those pants, man.
Then you're not buying pants in
Where do
the
you
last
buy your
4
pants?
years.
What lady store do you buy? Do you buy it at Coach? Do you buy
Nike,
those pants at
Nike.com.
Oh, gosh.
That's hilarious.
You don't do that, do you?
No, how dare you? How dare you? I have a pair of very comfortable Under Armour running shoes on.
How
very
are those?
comfortable. Those
Your new
Yeezys?
shoes the other day.
They're a little too tight for me.
Okay.
They bind my feet a tad bit. When I got to the store, I had to swap them out for. I had a pair of Converse All Stars, which are my go-to.
You got Yeezys, right?
Jamie gave me a pair of Yeezys about a year ago.
And you just wore them?
He
wore
just
them the other day.
undead stocked them. He's just keeping them on ice for a while.
Undead socked them. Is that what it's called?
Dead stock.
Dead stock. Dead stock. Oh, do you know what dead naming is? Do you know what dead naming is?
Is that a shoe thing?
No.
No.
It's a new thing that's illegal on Twitter. This is something I wish I knew. I didn't know until after the podcast, but dead naming is it's banned. So say if you decide tomorrow to become a woman and you're like, I'm no longer Brian, I'm Brianina. And I'd be like, Brianna? Mm-hmm. That's what have you thought this through?
Of course.
Okay. So I'd be like, okay, Brianna, but you're still a man. And then boom, that's dead naming. You can't call someone something other than their preferred gender. So, like, if they identify as a woman, but they're biologically male, you're not allowed to say they're biologically male.
Wow.
You're not allowed to call them a man because that's dead naming. You're not allowed to call them, like, you couldn't call Caitlyn Jenner Bruce. If you called her Bruce, you would be dead naming her.
But that's just like, that's not illegal, or I mean, like, you're not going to get
from
banned.
Twitter.
Oh, it's a Twitter rule thing.
It is a new. Please pull that up.
Oh, God.
I did not know this. I did not know this.
I searched it. It's been around for a while, but I'm checking the Twitter.
That's
thing.
kind of weird.
Dead naming has been banned for a while, or the
word
term?
The term has been around.
I just found out about the term maybe a couple weeks ago. I'd heard the term for the first time. Somebody wrote dead naming, and I was like, "What is that?" And then I had to look it up.
So ridiculous. All the new rules we have to deal with.
Dude, there's a fucking article. There's an article that I was reading. Go ahead.
I'm looking right at their terms of service. It's directly word for word in there.
Okay, where's it say that? Okay. Dead naming of transgender individuals. Repeated or non-consensual slurs, epithets, racist and sexist tropes, or other content that degrades someone. Okay, well, hold on a second. Like, what does degrade someone? So if you contact me and say, hey, bro, you're fucking short, you're not funny, that's degrading.
Yeah.
Like, is that not allowed? That's crazy. You have to have that be allowed. We prohibit targeting individuals with repeated slurs, tropes, or other content that it tends to dehumanize, degrade, or reinforce negative or harmful stereotypes about a protected category. See, that's where it comes from. Like, white people are not protected. This includes targeted misgendering or dead naming of transgender individuals.
Oh.
I love how they just went with that. This is a giant corporation, and they just went with some new word that's only been around for like a month. How long has dead naming been around for?
The Urban Dictionary had it in there from 2014.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Never even heard that before.
They're on the ball, tell you that.
But yeah,
those urbans, they stay ahead.
Twitter still allows goatsies and all the porn you want, which is
love
interesting
that.
to me.
Yeah, well, porn's consensual.
Yeah.
I love that. That's just hilarious. I love that. That's all. I love I do love the chaos of it all. I love the fact that they're trying to sort everything out. I just think the whole thing is crazy. It's so bizarre that like they're trying to, in that sense, with that, like that's so vague. To dehumanize or degrade. Well, every joke about someone, every joke about Trump, every single joke about Trump that every single comedian and or commentator and or person makes is in some way degrading. When you talk about how fucking stupid he is, like Rob Reiner had a joke about him, called him a piece of shit or called him a piece of crap yesterday and said he couldn't believe how fucking dumb he is.
Trump talking about Hillary, though. He's doing it to Hillary.
100%. 100%. 100%. So that's so vague.
Yeah.
That's so vague.
And dead naming's not a real word. So, like, how are they using fake words in this shit?
I think they're trying to say it is now. It is a real word. Yeah. Man, I don't know. If your name used to be Bruce and you change it to Caitlin, I can't say that. That seems bananas.
Yeah.
That seems bananas. So, like, if you're fucking with somebody, say somebody became a woman and is still an asshole. You can't call him Mike. You know, hey, Mike, look, I'm sure you're bitter about this whole changing your sex thing. You can't bring that up. But you're still an annoying guy. You just don't have your dick anymore. Bye. Like, if someone says that, they can't say that. Why can't they say that?
They should. That's, to me, stupid.
Well, I'm not saying...
But that's hurtful, I guess, to transgender people, I guess.
Sure.
And that's can be considered hate
right.
speech or hate whatever.
But only when it comes to, like, gender.
Right.
Like, if you could tell someone, hey, you're short and fat and stupid, and no one cares.
True.
Right? You could say, you're ugly as fuck, your nose is disgusting. What happens there? Is that the same way? Is that the same thing?
It might be if you do it repeatedly.
Right.
If you just do it once, you just throw one out there, probably okay.
Probably one time you could shit on someone's looks.
You get one.
But it's like deciding what you can and shit on someone for. Like, what I'm saying is if someone's an asshole and they're like, here's a perfect one. That woman who used to be a man, she's a transgender woman who was in a store screaming at this kid behind the counter that it's ma'am. It's ma'am. This is a perfect example of that. The guy was terrified. She's fucking huge. And she used to be a guy and clearly still looks like a guy. And she's saying, it's fucking ma'am. Like, she knocked some shit over and she got violent in the
GameStop.
store. Yeah. In that situation. You telling me that it's not cool to say, how about you settle the fuck down because you look like a guy, you're acting like a violent guy, and you used to be a guy. Pardon me if I think you're still a fucking guy. That's dead naming. But that's a good thing to say in that particular instance. So without nuance, right, without context, it's saying you can't say anything to degrade someone. Well, clearly that would degrade that guy. But if that guy was saying, fuck that kid, he did it on purpose, on Twitter, you're saying someone can't respond? Hey, man, I'm sure you're really upset that you got your dick removed and you still look like a guy, but fuck you. Like, why can't someone say that? Because that's people communicating how they feel about you being a dick. Like, if you start out being a dick and then they communicate about you being a dick by being a dick as well, are we banning this?
They're probably just covering their butts. There's probably not, you know what, like kind of like Jamie said.
It's dangerous in a lot of ways. It's dangerous to control people's thoughts and behavior because who are you to say and when does it end? You know, it just keeps going and going and going and going. It gets very slippery when you have one group that thinks it's right and they're trying to control another group that thinks they're right. Man, that is it seems so simple. When you're just talking about dead naming transgender people or not degrading people based on their looks or their ethnicity or their this or their that. But what you're doing is you're trying to dictate how humans communicate with each other, and people don't like it when you tell them what to do. The problem with telling people what to do is they want to do the exact opposite. This is one of the first things you realize when you have kids. You're like, oh, they don't want to listen to me. Like, I got to figure out a way to sneak information into them, you know, or you gotta figure out a way to not be too bossy. People don't want someone telling them what to do. This is what I missed when I was headed into that conversation. I missed how other people looked at that guy and what he stands for. I don't think it's correct. I think it's way more complicated. I think it's an insane business to run. And I don't think he really knew why Alex Jones was banned or why anybody else was banned. I don't think he really knew. I think he's dealing with a giant corporation, and he's a young guy, and he wears sandals.
And that's not the only company he runs.
Wait, what kind of sandals?
There's some weird ones.
Like the
nice guy.
Like
Leave him alone, bro. It's just shoes.
What were you saying? He runs a couple different companies. He's not sitting at Twitter's offices every day.
That's another thing that Alex Jones brought up today. That he sponsors the podcast through the Cash App, which he also runs. It's 100% true. But I think we talked about it on the podcast. We even talked about the Cash App being a sponsor and about how it's helped Justin Wren's fight for the forgotten charity. So Alex Jones erroneously said that I didn't mention it. So we did mention it. It's worth mentioning. And Alex Jones is having to like respond to people that want to know if I've seen what Alex Jones has said about me lately is one of the weirder things that I've dealt with. Because, first of all, I've always had good dealings with Alex in person to person. But he's obviously in a world of shit right now. There's a lot going on with him with this Sandy Hook stuff. And he wasn't entirely honest with me about what he had said about Sandy Hook. Maybe he didn't remember. Maybe he was trying to phrase it in a way other than the way I interpreted it when I saw the videos, but there's a Media Matters video that shows all the time where he said that Sandy Hook was fake. This is very complicated to me. This is one of the reasons why I struggled with bringing him back on the podcast. That's very complicated. Even though I've known the guy since 1998, and if I'm around him, I'd say that's my friend Alex Jones. He's a friend. He obviously did something fucked up. And the parents that had to deal with what he did, there's parents that had to deal with people calling them a crisis actor. They had to deal with people harassing them at the courthouse and harassing them if they met them in public because they were saying that they were lying about their kids being killed. So not only are their kids being killed, but they have to deal with someone harassing them and saying you're a liar and you're an actor. It's insanity. And I would think about it differently. I would definitely think about it differently if I wasn't friends with Alex, but I would also think about it differently if he hadn't made shit up about me. He said that I was told to stop talking about conspiracies or they threaten my family. That's 100% horseshit. And he has my phone number. He could have called me. I called him after I heard about it. He told me that someone told him that I talked to the person who told him that. I'm like, this is fucking bananas. Like, you out of your mind? Call me. This is so stupid. You think I'm not talking about whatever, fill in the blank, whatever ridiculous conspiracy. The Rothschilds, the fucking Rockefellers, whatever it is. I'm not talking about that because the government threatened my family. That is fucking wrong. It's ridiculous. And now you put it out there. So Alex Jones went on afterwards and he apologized and corrected it. Then recently, because I haven't had him on the podcast, he decided to start saying that I work for the CIA and that I'm George Soros talking points, which I don't even know what these fucking talking points are. Talking points about him in specific. Not talking to anybody. No one's giving me talking points. Not George Soros.
That's not what Eddie Bravo has been saying. I mean, he got good information through
Eddie
Joey
Bravo
Diaz.
Doesn't even say that, so stop. Joey Diaz did fuck with Eddie for a while though. But the point being, Alex, if you're out there, I still like you as a person. If I saw you, I'd still give you a hug. But you're making shit up. And this is not helping anybody who wants to defend you. It's not helping me as a person talk about the good qualities in you. And you know that these things that you're saying are made up. You're making up the fact that I'm in the CIA. You're making up for the fact that the Hollywood insiders have given me information and tell me what to say. That's not true. You know it's not true. You know me. I don't have time to be a CIA insider. I can't take on another job. In between doing stand-up and podcasts and UFC commentator and running a family, I can't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'm not interested. I'd rather stop doing everything than work for any government organization. No one's ever approached me. No one's ever approached anybody I've ever heard of. I don't even know if that really happens. I don't know if that's a real thing. The thing is, they always say is that the CIA would talk to the people in Hollywood and tell them what to say in terms of propaganda. And maybe. I don't know. I don't have any personal knowledge of it. I'm sure someone has decided that if they're going to make a movie about like Zero Dark 30, that they have to get some sort of approval. And I'm sure that a lot of movies that are very inspirational that have to do with the military would be great for recruitment. So I'm sure there's some involvement. I'm sure there's also some patriots that work in show business that want to put out these movies about the government and about the military in a very positive way. That's probably the case in some instances too. But not everything's a fucking conspiracy. And this is why it's stupid. And why it's stupid is some things are a fucking conspiracy. And Alex Jones has talked about some things that were real conspiracies. That 9/11 documentary, The Road to Tyranny, details the World Trade Organization protest where they sent in these agent provocateurs, which are essentially soldiers. They send in soldiers and military people dressed up in all black and cover their face, and they smash windows and tip over things, and they take a peaceful protest and they turn it violent so then the police can move in and shut down the protest. And then not only did they do that, but they made a no protest zone in the United States of America. A no protest zone. Was it the United States of America? It wasn't Vancouver, was it? It was Seattle.
I thought it was Vancouver.
No, I think it's Seattle. World Trade Organization protests.
You're talking about with the boots and they all had the same shoes?
Yeah, that shit. But Alex detailed this in detail, and it was real. When he makes things up, like there was one recently the David Pakman show had on about Alex talking about people eating babies' pituitary glands and scattered vandalism in downtown Seattle. Yeah, it was Seattle. So they enforced a no protest zone. That was in 2009, in 1999 rather. Was it 99? Yeah. December 1st, 1999. October 27, 2009 was the article. Yeah, Alex did that. That was real. That was legit. And it was very informative because I didn't know that is how the government operated sometimes.
Did you contact him the second time and go, what the fuck's wrong?
I sent him a text message. Said, this is why I won't talk to you. You say crazy, stupid shit like this. But I don't hate the guy. He'll scream and yell and call me a demon. He's not in a good place. You're not in a good place when you're defending against that. And all these other conspiracies, like it's all fun and games until you're talking about people's kids getting murdered. And then all of a sudden people are like, fuck you. And that's basically what happened with him. If he was just ranting about government conspiracies or, who shot this guy or who's stealing money from here, some of what he talks about is beneficial. But Alex is not. I don't think he's in a good place. I don't think he's in a good place mentally, and I don't think he's in a good place in terms of his situation with the law. I don't hate you, Alex Jones. If you listen to this, if I saw you, I'd still give you a hug. I'll still even do your fucking show when I come to Austin. I don't care. We can come and hang out, but just stop making shit up. It's silly. And I'm sorry if there's bad stuff between us. I'm more sorry of what you said about those kids. I'm sorry about everything. It's unfortunate. It's all terrible. Now, something like that. What's the road to redemption for someone like that? Because the thing about people is, and I think this is also what's going on with Alex. People need a road to redemption. Like if someone fucks up horribly and does something terrible, should that be the end of them? This idea that we don't need them anymore, no matter who it is. I mean, what does a person have to do to grow and learn and for people just to accept them again and let them onto all platforms again? What does a person have to do? It's a real good question.
I think it's per person, though. Like somebody like Alex just seems like he's getting worse and worse. Like this seems like what he did to just you is
he's doing it to me because he's mad at me because I haven't had him on.
But I'm sure if he asked you or if he was in town, I'm sure.
No, you're not listening. I said I didn't want to have him on. I was trying to figure out whether I would have him on. Right. But when I watched the Media Matters video it was very clear to me he wasn't being honest. I asked him if he had said that it was fake. And he said he questioned whether or not it was real, but then eventually he acknowledged that it was real, which he has done. But there was many times where he said it was fake. Not one, many times. It's absolutely fake. It was 100% fake. There's video of it. I didn't see the video before we did our 9/11 podcast. I've seen it now. And I still thought about having him on. I still thought about talking to him about it and talking to him about all this shit and what it's like.
I think he plays a character, honestly.
I don't think so.
I mean, with the reptile guys and people and the things that he says, half of it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I think he definitely goes crazy with some things, but I don't think he's doing well. Yeah, but he was talking about eating babies' pituitary glands. See if you can find that David Pakman video. David Pakman, who's a progressive commentator online, he was going, look, something's wrong with him. Like, he's playing this video. Like, what? He's talking about them breaking into morgues.
What is happening to Alex Jones?
Yeah, see if you can find the part on the video where Alex is talking. It's early on.
It sounds like schizophrenia. It sounds like any episode of Live PD or Cops, and people are talking like, I saw aliens upstairs in my house. Like the other guy, Owen Benjamin. Look at him.
See, play this real quick.
It's all in plain view to these people. They're just putting it in our face, and they want a system where we can't do anything to stop them. That's like Bill Maher. The name of his production company is Kid Love, which is his Namble's slogan, basically. Then he makes jokes about having sex with kids all the time, and says it's okay to have sex with kids that have sex with 35-year-olds when they're 12. Just incredibly outrageous, evil, pathetic stuff of these soulless demons like Bill Maher. But Josh was saying he had a theory dealing with what walnut sauce is. And are you going to say it's the pituitary gland? Because they confirmed that Jimmy Savile and others would torture little kids to death, but if they couldn't get regular ones to kill, their favorite thing was to grab a kid and run over them with a car so they could say, oh, there's a police report, they got run over. But they would hurry to the morgue, and they work with different government-controlled morgues and eat the pituitary gland as quickly as possible and get high off of it. So, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's yeah. That's, first of all, Bill Maher's not a fucking pedophile. This is crazy. This is like a weird rambling, and this is not Alex that I knew from 1998. It's just not. It's not the same guy. This is a guy who's not doing well. So my apology as a human being to Alex Jones. If you were hurt that I didn't have you back on the show, if you were hurt that I occasionally poke fun at you, I have to. You're hilarious. Unfortunately, but I don't hate you. I don't wish you badly. And back in the day, I enjoyed a lot of your stuff. People lose their way, So I think that it's a real bad feeling being stuck on the outside too, when they all band together and kick you out, and everybody kicks you out. Everybody. Twitter and Facebook and everybody and YouTube, and Twitter was the last one. But that was Jack Dorsey didn't even know why Alex Jones got kicked off of Twitter. And people were like, well, let him back in then. Like, yeah, but somebody knows. Yeah. I don't think Jack Dorsey is really the guy who's looking at each individual person that gets banned. I just have a feeling that stuff is compartmentalized, right?
Of
don't
course.
You think it's a bunch of people?
100%.
67 million monthly active users on there.
Right, but how many people are responsible for banning people and real high-profile people, though?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's a whole, like maybe 12 people. They have to have a meeting. Then they, maybe they talk to Jack. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's a position.
I don't know. Who? Yeah, right. Maybe he doesn't. We don't know. I'll ask that for sure. But maybe he didn't know when people got banned until he maybe got a company memo. Maybe he wasn't involved in the.
Of course.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's the one who called him up and said, get rid of this motherfucker. That's possible, too.
Yeah.
Like, here's another one, right? Here's one that people had an issue with. And one thing you could say, okay, when Kathy Griffin held up the Trump head. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Did she do that on her own Twitter account?
Yeah. She did? Yeah. She posted a photo of it.
Where'd she post it? She posted it on Instagram or Twitter?
I think it was on both. I'm not 100% sure.
Right. So that is it allowed? It's allowed because it's newsworthy, because it's a celebrity, and the celebrity is threatening a public figure who's also the most powerful person in the world, so it's okay? Is that why that is?
I think she posted it because it was an art piece that was kind of controversial.
Oh, no. I know that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, why is it okay? Why is she still allowed to be on the platform and Alex Jones gets kicked off? It's an interesting question, right? Like, what do you need to do to get kicked off? Because that's not the only thing that Kathy's done. Recently, she was one of the people that was calling for the name for that young boy who was with that Native American in front of his face, beating the drum.
Jeez. It's
crazy, irresponsible.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure she feels bad about it now in retrospect, especially if she's watched the video. But she got carried away, and she thought what we all thought when we saw the picture. There's a smirking cunt of a kid that got in the face of this beautiful indigenous man who's singing his rain dance cry or whatever the fuck he's doing. Yeah, that's not what it was, though. We found out afterwards it was much more complicated. What is their song? What were they singing? It sounded cool. They should make a record.
Yeah.
The chant, like the
Do you like that shit? That shit's cool to listen to when you work out. If you could get like some legit Native American chants like that, it put you into a trance, right? If you don't know what they're saying, and you just go running and you listen to that, take a little couple tokes, go for a jog in the woods, listen to Native American chants on your AirPods. Ooh.
That was an interesting video, though, because, I mean, that was a 180 after just hearing the second side of the story, 12 hours later.
And people still were calling for that guy's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw someone who said, what's his name, Ron Perlman? No. Who's the guy who was Hellboy?
Yeah.
Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman was like, motherfuckers are telling me that I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. And she said something about some white prick or white motherfucker. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, people try so hard. Like, you are seeing what you're seeing. Yeah, you're seeing what you're seeing. But what you're not seeing is a video that shows how it occurred. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know? So why is that okay, right? Why is that okay? Why is it okay for some journalists to say horrible things about white people? Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Seems weird. What if it encourages violence against a innocent white person? Just one. Should you be responsible? What if they say, why did you do that? Well, I read blah, blah, blah's tweet, and I was like, you know what? I am going to go out and punch a white person. Fuck that. I just found some white old lady, and I beat her ass. Like, if someone decides that, you're not responsible for that, are you? Probably not. But you gotta kind of feel like you played a part in the way people look at things, especially people that are very easily influenced. You know? It's just also, it's gross. You read something really racist against white people, you're like, that's gross. Like, you think all people are like that? A whole group of people that don't have as much melanin, they're all shit. That's ridiculous. You're a ridiculous person. I don't care if you're brown or black or yellow. You're ridiculous. That's silly. So we have to decide. It's got to decide, like, what the fuck we're doing. If we keep letting illogical behavior be normal, like breaking us off into fucking groups like that and thinking that, you know, all men are great or all women are great or all gays are great and all straight cisgendered men can go fuck themselves. All right. That's silly talk. I don't care who you are. You're not allowed to do that. But we let people do that if they're a part of a marginalized class. If someone's a part of a marginalized class, then you get to shit on everybody. In a weird way. You get to, like, reinforce racism. It's so fucking counterproductive, too. Because if you do that, then it just makes people just get defensive on the other side. They don't even want to even think or empathize with how you are. Whatever, bro.
Social media's really made everything annoying, hasn't it?
It has made everything great too, though.
Yeah.
It's both. Dude, Twitter is like we're saying, when someone says something dumb, like Trump will say something dumb sometimes, and I'll just go there for the memes.
Yeah.
And I'll just read his post, and it'll get me going in the morning. I'll get like 15 minutes of ha-has.
You probably missed this story yesterday. Have you heard any of the 21 Savage news?
Oh, he got deported, right?
Because everyone found out yesterday that he's apparently from the UK. And so, like, the story, there's two stories. That is part of the story, but memes of him being from the UK and a British rapper that's supposedly from Atlanta really took over to the fact, like, Demi Lovato tweeted it and she got shit on and she's deleted her Twitter now because of the response to that.
Did you know who this guy was before?
No, but I'm 51 years old. I'm an
it's
old man.
the number one,
I don't
like
know
his
shit.
number one record in the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Jamie's on Black Twitter.
Jesus.
But it's just
Jamie.
Jamie's
pop
on
music.
Black Twitter.
He's-
But you're on Black Twitter.
sure.
Yeah, sure is.
Could be too.
I am. I follow a lot of them.
I don't know any of these like Tech Nines and Sushi Fours
That
or
guy's
whatever.
fucked. That Takeshi
that's
69,
Takeshi 69.
he's fucked.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
Well, they're saying he's talking, so we might get a lot of
Yeah,
it
he's
reduced.
still fucked.
He's fucked.
Yeah,
He doesn't get
He's
killed
fucked.
for
He's
talking.
going to jail for a long time with a tattoo of 6ix9ine on his face. He's going to jail. He's going to have real problems. That ain't good. Did you read the list of charges? There's murder involved.
Yeah.
Murder, conspiracy.
Video of him supposedly calling a hit on someone.
Oh, Jesus
That was put on TMZ.
Christ.
Yeah, I
oh,
saw
my
that.
God. Oh, he's fucked, man.
Yeah.
Even if he cooperates, if they put a hit on someone because he said it, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
he won't get like the death penalty, but now he'll be like life in prison. You know,
He'll be someone's fleshlight.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Soldier Boy's in jail too, isn't he?
He
I don't
is?
think so.
For what?
He got arrested.
I didn't.
Yeah, he did.
For what?
He beat up his girl, and his girl beat him up.
No. That was Little Bow Wow.
You
Oh.
son of a bitch. You just shamed
No.
Soldier Boy for
That's
no
Lil Bow Wow.
reason with your shitty pot-addled memory.
Oh, wait a second.
You son
I
of a
swear
bitch.
Soulja-
Jamie's right. I know it's Little Bow Wow.
No, there was something else.
Oh, hold on. Yep.
Yep.
Nope.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
accused of kidnapping a woman.
Oh,
apparently.
kidnapping. I'm sorry.
So you got the stories conflated.
Kidnapping is even worse. He tied
Yeah.
a girl to a chair using an extension cord and kept her for 6 or 7 hours in his garage.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to jail forever.
Prom,
What did he do that for? That's someone's daughter. What did
Yeah.
he do that for?
Jealousy, I think.
It said, this is apparently, according to celebrity news outlet, the woman, whose name I will not say, apparently was backing out of a driveway and her car hit Soulja's LA home when she hit the curb, or at his house when she hit the curb. From that point on, his assistant reportedly became upset and started fighting with her. From there, Soulja allegedly stepped outside and tried to break up the fight. The woman says that he began punching and kicking her when she was on the ground and then tied her up for 6 hours.
God, Soldier Boy.
Well,
At least Nintendo.
one would wish
lawsuits.
that cooler heads would prevail, but that sounds like a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
Yeah, you never hear about the spin doctors causing any problems, right, guys?
She hit a curb. This all
what it
started. She
says,
hurt.
yeah, I
Did
don't
she hit a curb with his car or something? She curbed one of his wheels.
Wasn't enough information on there. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably curbed one of his wheels.
Maybe,
Probably was a nice car,
Rolls Royce or something.
and she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. I can drive, and she. What a dick! Tied her up and beat her up.
That's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Right. You got to always say that.
Been denied by this team.
Did you see that video of that old man putting the ice on the ground
Yes,
and then pretending he fell?
Oh, that's yeah, it's
Allegedly.
brilliant. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
There's no allegedly needed for that.
It's amazing. It's amazing to watch because he didn't know there was a security camera there. He tried to collect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that, man. I've seen videos of people doing that at the mall. They'll like throw a drink down and then slide down on the drink.
We had a guy do it once at a movie theater I worked at, and we had it on video also, and we just showed him the video, and then he left and never heard anything about it. But he was bitching up a storm like he was hurt. He
Watch
made
this
his-
guy. This
Yeah.
guy's hilarious. So he's walking. He looks around, chucks some ice on the ground. Yep, a little bit of ice there. No big deal. I'm just gonna go over here. La di da di da. Okay.
I love
here we
his
go.
fall.
Watch this. He looks around, makes sure no one's looking.
Oh.
He even fell like a bitch.
My back.
It's like holding his
The
drink
most
still.
ridiculous. Look at that. Silly
That's
man.
ridiculous.
Silly man. The thing about those guys is like anybody that does that kind of shit, I think the cops, all they have to do is go, sure, what's your social security number? And they look up all the shit that he's also done.
Yeah.
Like that ain't just a little bit of a scam. That's a guy who's been scamming.
It's like in Russia and stuff or other countries where everyone's doing the insurance scams, and so to the
Yeah.
point where everybody has to have dash cams on their car now.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in
You
Russia.
just triggered a story I heard over the weekend. There's I think this is a story happening in Houston where the cops broke into a house where they had heard that I think they had a warrant. Report was that neighbors had called in black tar heroin sales or something like that at this house. So they broke in without knocking. It was like a no-knock warrant. The guy's like 57 in the house. Hears someone break into his house, gets a shotgun, shoots one of the cops. They kill him. His wife is like, what the fuck's going on? She goes to try to grab the other cop's gun that had just fallen. She gets shot.
Oh,
Now
Jesus.
2 people are dead. and they didn't find any heroin.
Oh, Jesus.
There's like some weed in there or something like that.
Uh-oh.
And so people are like, they didn't have a history of doing much. From what that's why I thought of it, because they looked back at these guys. Did they have an arrest history or anything? And there wasn't anything that they'd found, at least when I read about it.
Do you remember the one where there was a mayor outside of Washington, D.C., and they were using his house as an address, and it was something with the mail delivery guy was running weed. And so the mail delivery guy would come by, and the package was addressed to him, but he would just keep the package because he knew like that this was this guy's house. It was on his route, and that way, as the package came in the mail, it would be his to deliver, but instead of delivering it, he would hold on to it. So they break into the mayor's house. This whole thing. Shoot his fucking dogs.
Yeah.
Shoot his dog. And he had like one of my dogs, like Marshall. So like a super duper sweet dog. He had a yellow lab, which is real similar. I think it was a yellow lab. It might have been a golden retriever. Either way, they fucking shot at least one of his dogs.
How'd they not know it was the mayor's house? You think that would be like on a list?
They didn't Google shit. Or maybe they did. Or maybe they thought fucking the mayor's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Maybe they really thought that. But that kind of shit is dark, man, when you just go shoot a golden retriever. Come on, you're not a pussy. And I know you're going in there because you think this is a real drug running operation because the cops just got bad information, right? But you're not a pussy. You don't have to shoot a fucking Labrador. Stop. You think that thing's going to bite you? Well, when it does, shoot it then. It's not going to bite you. Yeah. The fuck out of here. That's a weird power trip shit thing. You shoot all dogs. No, if a guy's got a wolf and it's off the chain, it's running at you, yeah, shoot it. Right. But you're breaking into some guy's house and then you shoot his fucking dog. What if you're wrong? Like you are a lot. You cool with shooting someone's fucking dog in front of their kids? That's what happened to the mayor of this town. The fucking mayor. I bet the guy who was the mail carrier just thought it was cute to use the mayor's address. Get all the weed delivered. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he voted for his opponent.
Or he thought it was safer to do it that way.
Oh.
Did you get a Tesla or are you just driving around?
I got one.
Tell me, how do you like it? Do you
preposterous. I had to get one. I told Elon Musk I would get one. Guy did my podcast. I owe him a solid. Mm-hmm. I'm a man of my word. It's a fucking spaceship. It's the weirdest thing I've ever driven in my life. It doesn't even make sense. It's not even there's not a single car that I've ever driven that's even close to as fast. Nothing. Like my Porsche is so slow. I have a GT3 RS. It has 518 horsepower. It weighs 3,000 pounds. It sounds like a dragon. And that Tesla would leave it in the dust. I mean, leave it in the dust. Like 0 to 60, 2 seconds quicker.
Oh, Jesus.
It's fucking insane.
Have you taken it out of ludicrous mode?
Yeah, I did. I put it in chill mode for a little while. But you could drive chill with ludicrous mode always available. You don't have to keep switching back and
ludicrous
forth.
mode is just crazy, like the fastest, and then it kills your battery.
Well, it kills your battery quicker, but the thrust that you get is a roller coaster ride. Right. It's insane. I mean, you can't believe how fast it is. It literally doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem right. It seems like it's punching its way through a wormhole using alien technology. Meanwhile, I posted, it seems like something Bob Lazar snuck out of Area 51. I get all these messages from people. Bob Lazar's been debunked. That's controlled opposition. That's a fake story. It's fake news, bro. They got you with the Bob Lazar story.
Do you like all the tech in it? I mean, that's
insane. It's too much almost because it's this giant screen. Like I had to dim it way the fuck down because I was just looking at it like, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. You're so pretty.
My dream car.
It's very comfortable.
How long?
Super comfortable.
Now, do you have a supercharge station at your house yet, or do you?
I have a thing on the wall at my house
that
I can plug it into. It's not a supercharger. It takes like 8 hours.
8 hours
or more.
And how many miles?
But I'm gonna get one of those. Fast charger in the house.
Yeah.
It goes allegedly. And I mean allegedly 311 miles.
And do you have the fuel?
But here's the problem. I drive like a moron, so it's not going that far.
Did you get? Is there a fuel option for that model? Like, are
fuel?
I mean, I think there's a fuel add-on that gives you an extra that's an option. Like
I thought you meant fuel, like gasoline.
Yeah, there's a
what?
No.
What are you talking?
Some models,
not Tesla.
Not Tesla. Okay.
You're just making shit up, bro.
Some I forget which car it is.
Electric car. 4 wheels.
Electric car. Like you can pay extra for like 1 gallon of gas. So like if you ever lose your battery.
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
I thought Tesla had that. For some reason.
No. There was like.
Prius, maybe? I don't know.
Priuses are mixed. They're hybrids. Priuses use gasoline, but a very stingy amount of gasoline. They run partially on electric motors. So do the Acura NSX. The Acura NSX has 2 electric motors, but I think you don't ever charge it. I think the electric motors are powered by the gasoline engine and electricity in the car, if I remember right. That's supposed to be the motherfucker. Like, the Acura NSX is supposed to be the car that people are underlooking for whatever reason. It just doesn't get the love that it deserves. And apparently the 2019 model is even more insane.
I can't wait till the day where like your garage floor is like a wireless charging mat. You just pull right up into the mat, or they.
Well, it never would be because it's rubber.
Well, I'm sure they'll find a way. Because like there's like if you take your phone and put it on a wireless charger, there's like a little room that if you don't have to touch it. Like maybe
that's the whole reason why you're safe from getting hit by lightning, bro.
Yeah,
like that the rubber protects you from electricity.
But if you park though, a little thing comes down to the ground. Like a little
maybe. Yeah, but what if that thing falls out while you're driving?
A little boner.
Flips your car over.
Or like if the streets, like if somehow, like if you're riding on the highway and if you want to fuel up, that you can like fuel up using the road. You might pay like a fee or something.
Right. Well, really, ideally, it would be great if solar panels had gotten so powerful that they could charge it just with the sun, especially because Southern California is always fucking sunny, except for today. But it's a matter of time. The car's the future. That's what it is. It really is. Look, I'm a giant fan of American muscle cars. They're my all-time favorite cars in terms of like to drive, to hear the rumble of the engine, and that I love them. I love them. Maybe I'm some crazy old dude from the fucking 80s that still loves 1960s muscle cars. Maybe. I don't care. I love them. But that fucking car is the future. That Tesla's the future. Like when you drive it, you realize, oh, other cars are stupid. What is that?
That's that new
crazy rocket they showed today.
He's shooting rockets out in his backyard. Is that his house?
Is there anything that you don't like on the or something that kind of bugs you that you wish was like, oh, I don't like how there's no door handles,
No, nothing. You just got to figure it out. It just takes a little while to figure out what all the different buttons do and how to get things to happen, but it's really well thought out. Look, he's a legit genius, and what he's doing is unprecedented. And, this is going to sound like I'm kissing his ass because I like him because he did the podcast and then I became friends with him. But no, he's important. The guy's got ideas that are of a magnitude that dummies like you and me are never going to come up with any of those ideas, ever. If we lived 1,000 lives, we would never figure out SpaceX. It's just not in our wheelhouse. We would never make a fucking electric car. We never make one of those things. Never make that Tesla Roadster that's going to come out that goes 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds and looks like a spaceship, like a race car spaceship from the future. We're not doing that, dude. We need people like that. Those guys are super important. This guy is he's like a culture changer, like a legit culture changer.
You got him to smoke weed. Jesus.
He wanted to. His ad blocker busted.
I'm looking forward to the new Toyota Supra, man. We both had Supras growing up.
Dude, the new one looks dope. So this is the SpaceX rocket.
Rocket, yeah.
It says what does it say at the top? It says built a stainless steel rocket ship in Texas that looks like liquid silver and might launch in February. What day is this article?
January 11th, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, okay, it fell over.
Yeah, I know they've been doing stuff more with it, but I just how cool it looks.
It looks like...
But I mean, it fell. It fell on the ground.
While it was standing there?
Yeah. It got blown over in the wind.
It looks like a drawing for a rocket from the 1900s. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but it looks just like a rocket.
It looks like a fucking movie, like Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
That's a Buck Rogers rocket.
You're right.
It looks dope, though.
Buck Rogers.
Dude, driving that car really feels like the future.
And did you get the best model, or is it what the?
Son.
Of course you did, but
yeah, I got the Model S P100D is what it's called.
I just paid off my car. I might just sell it and get one of those. I'm so tempted.
But you have to have a place to park it that has a little charge port.
Yeah, I mean, I have a power outlet.
They could probably convert it.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple superchargers in Burbank.
Yeah, there's one across the street, but it's always taken. I don't know what the...
You know what's weird, man? Passing by gas stations and going, I'm never going to use you with this.
Yeah.
I'm never pulling in there unless I want a soda. Look at that thing. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. And I'm telling you, man, that's not an unrealistic number.
620 miles?
Yes.
Wait, when's this come out?
A couple years.
Oh.
It's going to be a while. I'm going to get one. 100%.
I'll buy your old one.
This is such a dope car, man. It doesn't even make sense. Why does it not have a side mirror? It's got no side mirrors.
Maybe
It has cameras.
Fuck
surrendering
that.
of it probably does.
Shut
I
your
don't know
mouth.
yet.
I tell
Give
you,
me a goddamn side mirror, you sons of bitches.
I love my cameras on my car. I don't even use my side mirrors. It's so much better having that.
Look at that thing.
How much is that?
620 mile. I don't know. Probably stupid expensive. Look how pretty it is. It's too pretty to be cheap. Look how fucking sick that thing looks. Look at it.
God,
I mean, it's like the ultimate sports car. Like that looks like that easily could be a new 911. Like from that angle, particularly, and then the roof comes off.
Oh, it looks like gamer
Bitch.
seats. Look at those gamer seats right there.
Well, not only that, but that's what racing
Yeah,
seats
I
look
know.
like. But that's why they were racing seats first, and then became gamer seats.
Right.
But the steering wheel's wonky. The steering wheel's like a F1, like a Formula One car. See it?
Oh, it's like square.
Yeah. It's like you grab it by the handles. Maybe they want to make sure that you don't do this kind of shit. Like this is so fast. You probably need to hold on to it in a different way. Dude, I'm telling you that the car that I got,
Beautiful.
I've never experienced anything like that before. You don't think it's real. You don't think a car can do that. It doesn't make any sense.
What?
$245,000. Oh, damn! Chop that shit up.
Oh my gosh.
That's plus the 5,000.
Oh, so
250,000.
250. Yeah. It's probably going to sell out in 5 seconds too.
Gotta pay it and take it.
Every
10 days.
every dickhead in Hollywood will have one. Look at me, I'm environmentally conscious, but still sexy. Look at my beads. Look at my open shirt. Do 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 do.
I went into a Volt the other day as an Uber, and I was amazed by that.
Yeah, they're dope.
They're pretty sweet.
I think that's a hybrid, right? Or
Yeah,
is it an
no,
all-electric?
it's all electric.
All electric.
Yeah, I mean, it had like 5 different cameras, and it was pretty sweet.
Did he ask him how long the range is?
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I think it was like 230. I think he said.
That's not bad though. If you're driving around Hollywood, you could probably get a whole night in. You know, if you're Ubering.
Audi just announced theirs yesterday with the Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, it looks nasty. I've seen it. It looks
E-tron.
nasty. Yeah, it looks nasty.
Like Jackson nasty or bad
That's
nasty?
Miss Jackson if you're nasty. It looks like
I think you
it's
might be
like
thinking of a different one.
I'm thinking of the R8. They
Yeah,
took.
this is a different one.
Oh, get that out of
Oh,
my
that's
face.
ugly.
Take that away.
Look at that stupid grill.
That actually looks like a regular Audi. Is what it looks
like
like.
a-
I don't
But
like
Audi. Google Audi electric sports car.
what it looks like.
There's one that doesn't
looks-
look bad. That looks like a standard SUV. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, we pulled it up the other day.
It's like a grandma
What's the
car.
mile on that thing? What's the mileage?
Yeah, sorry.
The range. The range is everything on these fucking things.
Exactly.
Because if it's anything below like 300 miles, what does that say? Go
100
back up.
It's comparing it. It's
Oh.
comparing the amount of time you charge it and what it takes to charge to get certain things.
Oh, the Model
I was
X.
trying to find
Well,
that.
Model X only does 144 miles,
and
and
on
it does 160 miles. That ain't good,
It's on that on that kind of charger or something like that.
dude. That ain't good.
Manufacturer estimate.
That ain't good.
After 30 minutes. That's only after 30 minutes.
Oh, how much you get
Oh.
in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good in 30
Oh,
minutes.
so you can get 160 miles worth of charge in 30
30
minutes.
minutes.
That's not bad.
Faster.
Yeah, it's a long time though. If you got to go somewhere, if you're in a rush, you can't just pull in and get gas. But you don't want the kind of power that would it take. I mean, can you imagine how many dipshit? That's it. That's the Audi. Look at that thing, Brian.
Oh,
Look at that
yeah, I like that. I like that better.
No, that's the e-tron one. So it's basically an Audi R8, a next generation Audi R8. Go to the one. Yeah,
That's
that's what
very
it looks
sexy.
like. That's a nasty looking car. It's a dope electric e-tron. But that says 2016.
Yeah, I think this is when they announced it back at like the car shows and whatnot. And it's just now coming out.
Oh.
E-tron's
But
probably what they're calling there.
see if it actually is a real thing, or is it still just a concept? Because they always there's a lot of those cars. They'll disappoint the shit out of you.
279 miles.
Oh,
not
so
bad.
it's a real thing. When is it available? I wonder when that's coming out.
It said 2022 right there.
2022. Yeah, so that's probably the same time the Roadster's coming out. But look how they get your dick hard years in advance.
Guess you could have ordered it in 2015.
So
though.
rude, though.
Oh man.
So rude to get your dick hard so far in advance.
Yeah.
You know? Like if you're like, yeah, I'm going to be fucking super environmental, but I'm going to just show everybody what's up. I'll be stunting.
There you go.
Wow.
Right here. September.
Did you,
Wow.
Do you see the new Volkswagen Dune buggy? That looks pretty fun.
No, what is that?
It's
They sell a dune buggy?
it was just announced. I'm not sure when it's for sale or if it's for sale, but it looks pretty fun. It looks like a classic dune buggy, but they Volkswagened it, and it has no roof, but it looks like a little fun car. I don't know if there's see a picture of that or not. Yeah.
All right.
Beetle, other dune buggy. Yeah. Ooh.
It's a new one?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
shit.
It looks kind of cool, right?
Whoa. You could drive that on the road?
Yeah.
So it's a road car. But is it still a dune buggy? 2025. Again!
Exactly.
This cock teasing. You sons of bitches.
That looks fun.
Well, they were supposed to announce the new Bronco. Everybody thought it was going to happen at the Detroit Auto Show.
Oh, yeah.
But it came and
What happened?
went. Came and went with no Bronco.
That makes no sense, though, because it's actually on their website. Like, they were going to announce it soon as
Was it?
for sale, I thought.
I don't think they said that they were going to. They probably don't have it down. You know, sometimes when they're working on these experimental vehicles, they'll develop something, but then they don't like certain aspects of it, or then maybe they're aware of a competitor's work that might come out with more horsepower. So they have to, like, for instance, like the GT500 from Ford. It was on its way out. They were going to put it out, the new one, but they were saying that it has over 700 horsepower. They never say that. They always give you the exact specific number. They always say 750 horsepower. This is coming in 2020.
It's their website.
Okay, but they didn't
announce
show it
yet.
at the.
They're probably going to make a special day for it.
That I might be interested in.
Fuck yeah, it's gonna be nasty looking. Have you seen what it looks like?
Yeah.
it looks cool as fuck.
it's
They don't
the
have any
good
pictures
model.
of it.
No, because that's just
Right, it's the Ford website. Doesn't have pictures of it because they haven't released it yet.
Right.
But what was I just saying? What was I just saying? We're talking about what before the Bronco?
the Volkswagen Beetle, the buggy.
No, you were saying.
Switch to the Bronco.
I don't remember, Jamie. Fuck me up.
About how it's getting pushed back because somebody might like this car's faster.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Shelby, the GT500. They said it's over 700 horsepower. The reason why they said that is because Dodge came out with the Demon, and then they came out with some other version of the Hellcat that's also like 800 horsepower. So if you come out with only 700 horsepower, it's hard because as ridiculous as that sounds, some people are going to think, yeah, but it's not the ZR1 that's got 750, or it's not the this or the that. So they haven't said exactly what the horsepower rating is because they're still trying to juice it up. That might be the case with the Bronco too. They might be trying to fix things and juice things up. But look how good that looks. The red with the black stripes. Good Lord.
I love red and black.
See, that car is a reckless person's car. That's the difference between that and like a Tesla. What's exciting about that car, the way it looks, that is a ridiculous person's car. Like if that's what you drive around every day, you're a fucking madman. You're probably a little tipsy sometimes when you drive. You might smoke cigarettes. You definitely smoke cigars. You probably order shots, right? That's a ridiculous person. It's a fun ass fucking car, but yeah.
Keto on weekends.
Look at the transmission. Not only is it an automatic, it's a wheel. It's
weird.
a wheel that you spin to drive. Like fuck you. First of all, give me a goddamn stick shift like an American. I want a stick shift with the fucking American flag as the boot of the stick shift. It's one of the last places on the planet where you could still get a goddamn stick shift sports car. And what does Ford do? They released the GT500 with an automatic. How dare you? Don't talk to me about paddles. Well, you can shift it manually with the paddles.
I hate paddles.
Woo-hoo!
Paddles are so stupid.
Woo-hoo! That's not a manual transmission, sir. That's shifting it with the paddles. What's my left foot doing? Should I pretend? How about give me a fake clutch?
Yeah.
Fake clutch where I can pretend. They look dope, though. Look how good that silver one looks.
Looks sexy.
Silver with the black stripes. God damn, that looks good. The red one with the black stripes, too.
So these come out later this year? At the end of the year, kind of?
Yeah, I think so.
Or I guess they haven't announced it yet, so.
I don't think they've announced the specific date it comes out. But it looks like it's got wider bodywork, too, doesn't it? Like the fenders are wider in the rear and the front. But if you don't want to wait, you can get something even more powerful that is available right now with a manual transmission. You get the Shelby Super Snake. Google that. You want to see America at its rock hard finest? 2000 2019 or 18 Shelby Super Snake. 800 motherfucking horsepower, wide body Mustang with a manual transmission. And they say don't even fuck with the automatic, because the automatic transmission is the transmission from a regular automatic Mustang, and it just doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's just, it's confused by this thing. The car has 800 horsepower. Turn that volume up. America, America. Come on. Look at that. Woo!
Yeah, that's not, to me, that's sexy, but not worth $117,000.
Shut your fucking communist mouth. That is a monster of a car. Good Lord, that's a beautiful thing.
On your Tesla, can you download sound effects so it sounds like that?
No, I don't
or
want
just
that.
farts?
You don't want that. You want it just be cool. Just chill. Tesla's like you're a man of leisure. You're a man of leisure. You're driving around.
So sexy.
Comfortable and quiet. Shh, as it flies around. It's like it's going through a wormhole everywhere you drive it. Very strange car. Very strange.
Have you tried self-driving yet? Have you? It's
no.
nerve-wracking, isn't it?
No,
Kevin Pereira took me on it once, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah, Brian Cowan does that. I think he's beating off a lot when he's driving. Put porn on that big screen, I hear.
You can?
No.
Oh. Jesus. I was like, that's great.
Can you imagine just driving, people are on autopilot just beating off to porn and that giant ass screen?
Does it have a web browser in it? It seems like it would.
I haven't even looked.
Man.
I'm sure it does something.
Yeah.
You could probably get online if it's parked or something ridiculous like that. It's a crazy car, but it seems like such a leap from anything that I've ever driven before. Like I've never experienced anything remotely close to it. So let's go fucking play some Quake. Let's wrap this up. So I said everything I wanted to say about the Jack Dorsey thing. I said everything I wanted to say to Alex Jones. So my olive branch extended to you, Mr. Jones. I wish you well in this life. And everybody else, we'll do better. We're going to definitely have Jack back on, and we're going to have Jack back on and review some of these cases with some of the people that are in charge with it. And we're going to compile a list. We're going to try to get someone to compile a list of what they think would be contradictory cases or hypocritical cases or interesting cases or just fuel for conversation, and we'll figure it out. And yeah, the Cash App's one of the sponsors of the podcast. I'm 99.9% sure we said that. I'm
thought we did.
Positive we did, because we talked about Justin Wren's Fight for the Forgotten Charity, about what that code word Rogan is doing for pygmies in the Congo when they do that. I swear to you, even though you don't have to believe me, that did not affect how I talked to that guy. I don't have a problem getting sponsors. I got plenty of sponsors. It's a good sponsor. I like them. They do good things. They donate $5 to UFC fighter Ray Borg's son's medical bills for every time someone uses the code Joe Rogan. So I like them. If I had them as a sponsor and I couldn't talk freely with him, I would be happy if they dropped me. I would be way happier for them to drop me than I would for me to say something different or not say something because they're a sponsor. Again, that sounds very self-serving, like you would say that, right? But it's true. So that's all I can tell you. All right. So that's it for today. Bye.
See ya.
Say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.